You're listening to the Pillaging Podcast, companion podcast to PillagingJustForFun.com. That's PJ4F.com, the #1 podcast in Raider Nation. Tune in every week wherever podcasts are found. Call in and leave a message to be played on air at 408-909-PJFF. This episode brought to you by Creative Media Design Studio. Check them out at CreativeMediaMonterey.com. Yo, it's time to pillage another podcast. I'm your host, Kenny Stapler. What's good, Cain?
What's up, baby? We out here.
We really out here, man. We woke up. Both of us woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was on like 3 hours of 3 hours of sleep. Sorry. It's Freudian slip. We out here in sunny Denver, Colorado, and it's mighty nice. And joining us on the show this week, we got two very special gentlemen. We have three. Actually, technically, we have four. I consider myself very special as well. Two special guests with us today, and actually I should say that we are guests of one of the gentlemen that's sitting right next to me right now. Introduce yourself, 303 Raider.
Raider Nation is strong in the 303, baby. Welcome.
I'm seeing that. You guys are well represented out here in Denver, Colorado.
Raider Nation loves Denver, Colorado, but Denver, Colorado doesn't love Raider Nation.
I like it. So how long have you lived out here in Denver?
13 years.
Wow, you're holding it down. And you're originally from?
San Jose, California, the 408.
There you go, my birthplace. I still got the 408 in my phone number. Do you miss the Bay, like low-key, or you, like, I mean, I know it's tough. This is home now. But do you miss the Bay? Take the prices away from it.
Well, if it's all equal, who wouldn't want to live in California? You have Tahoe, You have Santa Cruz. I mean, you have everything. But since it's not equal,
yeah,
Denver's a nice place to live. Good place to raise a family.
Shout out to Santa Cruz, 831 representing. It's my alumni, bro. It's my alumni.
That's where I met the missus.
Really? She a banana slug too?
Capitola.
Oh, right on. Okay. I see you. I used to live down there in Capitola Village. Thank you very much, sir, for letting us come over to your house, and we're doing the podcast here in your kitchen. You have a very beautiful veranda on your rooftop patio. Want to comment on that and say thank you for welcoming us into your humble abode.
Yeah, that rooftop is where after a tough Raider loss, I go up there and I lose it.
Yeah, you pound beers. Can you see the stadium from over there?
I could see Coors Field, but I don't ever want to see Donkey Stadium.
I was going to say it was a very smart real estate decision by you, 303. Also joining us this week is Tuck Rule Fool. Some of you guys may know him from his playoff pontificator. Everyone's a big fan of the playoff pontificator. I like it because it means that the Raiders actually have a chance of losing a playoff spot, which means we're in contention. Sarcasm font included. Tuck, tell me a little bit about yourself. And that's all you need to know.
That's the first thing you need to know.
I like it.
I am here for the nation. Whatever the nation needs, I will provide.
That's a lot. That's quite a lot. I would reckon to say there are some needs the nation has that you will not be willing to provide, but that's a different podcast.
That would be true.
Yes. Welcome to the show, Tuck.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. I'm absolutely ecstatic. You guys run a great ship. Not a show. I think you run a ship.
We do.
And I'm just ecstatic to be here and representing the nation with y'all.
Yeah. Sometimes we got to sail that ship through a storm of panic and chaos and conspiracy. But that's Raider Nation for you. So let's bring it right back around to Cain, my co-host. Che couldn't make the trip, but Che's going to be joining us. It's going to be Che's Corner this week. We'll be calling him pretty soon. But Cain, man, how you liking it so far? I know this is not your first trip to Denver, but we're here. We're out here, man. We're making it happen.
Well, actually, this is my first trip to Denver as far as visiting the city. Right. I've flown into the airport and did a layover, but never left the airport.
Gotcha.
This is a really nice town.
It is.
I'm really enjoying myself. The weather is good. And we went to a place called Cherry Cricket and had a cheeseburger. You know, I had to have a cheeseburger.
Let's talk about that, yeah.
Hey, it was off the hook, man. I recommend if you come to Denver, you got to go to Cherry Cricket.
Get the Cricket burger, half-pound burger.
Absolutely.
What'd you put on that burger?
American cheese.
American cheese. Yeah, there it is.
That's right.
Yeah, I followed suit. I got the American cheese. I got the green chili add-on on top of that. And 303, again, a recommendation of yours. You hit the spot. You scratch the itch. We got the cheeseburger. Great job.
You know, the minute that you guys said Cain booked the trip out here, I was like, I got to take him to get a burger.
We could have gone somewhere.
That's the spot right there.
That was a spot.
That's the spot. And it hit the spot, too. Yeah.
You got to go to the Post. Best fried chicken ever.
The Post.
In Denver?
It's on Denver. It's a little bit outside. You got to go a little outside the box here. They got one in Boulder, and they got one in Lafayette. So it's a little bit of a drive, but it's...
Is it better than Popeyes?
It's great, man. I don't know. If you love fried chicken, you'd love going there.
Well, you caught my attention because that's my last meal. Fried chicken's my absolute favorite meal. That's my food right there. And rest in peace, Granny. We miss your fried chicken, amongst other things. Let's talk about tonight. It's currently 6:55 here in Denver, Colorado. And after this, we're going to be packing up and headed to the Raider Takeover. Where's that taking place today, 303?
Just a little bit of a drive up from here north, Commerce City. The Raider bar used to be downtown, and then a little fight happened outside of the bar. Raider fans beat up a couple Denver fans. So we can't party in Denver anymore. That's how the Raider Nation does it.
Let's keep it real. It was not a little fight to have to shut the bar down and move the whole operation. So we'll be headed out there. We're going to be networking with Raider Nation out there, having a good time, and pre-celebrating the Raiders' first victory of the season. That's right. I said it. I have it marked down. I'm going to stick to my sheet, my predictions at the beginning of the season. I told you guys we were going to lose to L.A., and we were going to come back on the road and beat Denver. And we got some interesting stats around Denver and the Raiders in Denver and some of the characters that are on this roster and in this organization. We're going to save that, put a pin in that. We're going to get to that in a minute. But also after tonight, we obviously have the game. So we'll be fully represented out there at the tailgate. I don't know if we're going to get any audio out there, but just let you guys know, the Pillaging crew, we out here.
We here, baby.
That's right.
That's what we do.
Yeah. What are they serving at the tailgate tomorrow?
Tacos, street tacos.
I'm good with that.
And humble pie.
So I know you're a bit on the humble pie. Mm-hmm. Are we serving that to Raider fans or to Bronco fans?
Oh, no, we're serving that to Bronco fans.
Okay.
That's what they get.
All right. As long as we're not eating crow in the post-game party, I'm fine with whatever they're serving, to be quite honest with you. So let's talk about it. Also on tonight's show, former Raiders senior assistant Michael Lombardi. The interview's already been pre-recorded. I know Raider Nation, you got mixed feelings on Michael Lombardi. He makes you feel a certain kind of way. But please check this interview out. Please check it out. Check out his book, Gridiron Genius. We'll also be giving away a free copy of that book on tonight's show. We got 4 copies. We'll be giving those away all month. Tonight, it's the hottest caller. I already told y'all, come in with your fire takes. Win that book. It's a good book. I finished it up a few nights ago. A lot of X's and O's. It's not purely anecdotes. It's anecdotes surrounded, wrapped around the philosophy and theory of football and how it relates to the minds of Bill Walsh, Al Davis, and Bill Belichick. Just an incredible book. Definitely check that out. Shout out to Crown Publishing for sending the advanced copy and the giveaways. We really appreciate that as well. Just another reminder that the new edition Pillaging Tees are on sale at creativemediamonterey.com. The old ones are on sale too, so if you want that nice throwback PJ4FT, we're in the throwback.
We are in throwback mode.
As long as it's not the new edition boys band, I'm good.
Yeah, it's not, but, Bobby Brown, you got to give it up to him and the rest of the cats. Trezvant was in that band, no?
Yep,
Trezvant.
absolutely.
Johnny Gill,
and Rob Trezvant,
Bobby Brown,
Mike Bivens,
and
Ricky Bell.
And Ricky Bell. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a mega group before it was a mega group. Really. Keep an eye on the Raiders Podcast Network. We are a proud member of the Raiders Podcast Network. You can follow them on Twitter at Raiders Podcast, and also check out the new website, theraiderspodcastnetwork.com. It's a work in progress, but it's up there. Give you a little idea of what it is we're about to do with this project. Make sure you check that out and bookmark it. You can find the Pillaging Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search the Pillaging Podcast, and you will find us. So it's time for our favorite segment, Quick Hits. Quick hits this week, folks. John Gruden loses his first game in 10 years as the Rams down the Raiders 33-13 in Oakland on Monday Night Football. What do you guys think? Were you hopeful that we were going to get a win, 303?
Well, if you would have asked me at halftime, up 13-10, what were your thoughts? I was excited. I mean, we had the lead.
Not just up 13-10, but Carr's 20 of 24 passing. I think, he's got the touchdown pass at that point, correct? No, sorry. Marshawn Lynch had the first touchdown. You gotta excuse me. I'm running pretty low on fumes right now. I'm going to start making up shit. But, Cain, what was your general feeling? You were in the stadium. You were there with me. What was your gut feeling at halftime going into the second half?
I thought we had gave ourselves a real good shot at winning. It was 13-10 going into the second half.
Yeah.
When we come out, I thought we could get an early touchdown and go up by another touchdown, but obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah, stalled out. Definitely didn't come through. I noticed with 8.5 minutes to go, a lot of fans piling out of the stadium. Did you stay to the last second of that game?
I did not.
You did not?
I did not stay.
At what point did you give up on that game?
I left with probably 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's about right. Did you stay on the station, Tuck? Did you keep watching?
Yeah, I my thoughts on that were I was very happy to see the multiple sets that Gruden was setting up. I mean, everyone was wondering what sort of offense this guy was going to set up. I was very impressed with it. We had some quick hits there. And what made me a little bit worried, though, was that we had, I think, 21 minutes of possession in the first half, verse 8, and we're up by 3. So I kind of thought we were overreaching and kind of overachieving at that point, and I just didn't know if we could hold it for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as it turned out, we didn't.
Right. We did not. Martavis Bryant ends up back in Oakland. Coach Gruden commented on his physical and mental health and how they were in question during the preseason, and he says he's in a better place and he's back on the roster. I'm going to speak from some experience because I'm going to call bullshit on this. It seems like an odd move. I know a lot of people were upset when Bryant left, or a little bit disappointed, I guess is a better word for it. I was too. I mean, I see Bryant as a weapon, but I see the inconsistencies. I see the issues there. The red flags were there before the trade. I mean, he had issues in Pittsburgh, and now he's back, and we get this kind of flimsy response out of John Gruden. As somebody who's been in a family with many people, and somebody who in their line of work deals with people that struggle with depression and mental health and addiction, whether it's marijuana or something even more severe. I know a lot of people downplay marijuana, but you know what? If you're suffering with anxiety and depression, there's something to be said that THC cannot help you. So I mean, I've looked at it. So whatever it is he's on, whatever he's doing, I don't see people bouncing back in like a week and a half's time from these kind of struggles. Like, what is it now that obviously that all of a sudden makes Bryant's life peaches and cream? Are any of you guys buying this explanation, or what is this move to you?
Well, for me, basically, if you sign him after week 1, his contract isn't guaranteed. So if he end up getting suspended, or if he's not playing up to par and you end up having to cut him, his contract is not guaranteed.
Yeah,
and you know, secondly, I feel like we needed a deep threat, somebody to help Cooper get open.
Yeah.
Jordy Nelson is not that person.
Right.
So you bring in somebody with speed, somebody to take the top off of defense. Martavis Bryant can do that. Maybe you'll see some strikes downfield this week.
And there's been whisperings that the NFL might be easing up on its marijuana policy. That kind of rumor broke along with this Martavis Bryant move. The Raiders may be thinking, and this is all sort of just conjecture right now and rumor, but the Raiders may be thinking, well, if that's the case, we'll bring him back. We'll get what time we can out of him, and then if he gets suspended, it's kind of like we can wipe our hands clean, and it's not really going to cost us anything. So in the meantime, you get a guy that can take the top off the defense potentially, but you know, from what we've heard from Coach Gruden and what I saw in the preseason with his route selections, you got to kind of keep it simple. And I told you my hot take back then was that Martavis Bryant is a new Cordero Patterson. I watched Patterson's routes. I watched every single route that Patterson ran last year, and it was nothing more than dig routes and drag routes,
9 routes,
and some curls. Right, some comebacks. So we'll see. Bryant's got a different selection, but we've already seen him, I think, on 2 or 3 drags in the preseason. But the bottom line is the guy has speed. If you can get the ball in his hands, he's a weapon. So upside, are you guys happy with this maneuver with the upside?
I mean, it's all about winning. And if we score 13 points and we're throwing the ball to running backs and tight ends.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's right, I mean, Gruden said, he's in a good place now. Okay, we'll believe you. Let's see it on the field. Yeah. And if he's right, our offense can be dynamic. I was a person that was excited when we traded for him because I thought about, remember that one touchdown where he caught it and he did a flip in the end zone with Pittsburgh? He's dynamic. I mean, it's all about winning right now. We need to get a win.
Yeah, we do. He might be in a good place right now, but this team is in a bad place right now, and that's the bottom line. And you said it yourself. We need to get a win. It's week 2, and Raider Nation's already in panic mode for a lot of reasons. Tuck, did you want to jump in on that take?
Yeah, I did. I think that whole reason that Gruden said that, you know what, Keon Hatcher outplayed him, and that's why we took him, I think that's bullshit. I think what it really was that they wanted to get out of his contract, So they said, okay, we're going to get out of this contract by not having him on the 53-man roster. And then they crossed their fingers hoping that he wouldn't be picked up, and he wasn't picked up. And then we didn't really put a lot of points on the board and said, okay, let's bring him back. And, that whole thing with Keon Hatcher was nonsense because obviously we let him go. So, there's Gruden's got to be careful here because he's losing a little bit of credibility in my point.
Right.
And I'm the biggest Gruden apologizer ever. So I love that we got him there. But I think that was really just an explanation for really what they wanted to do. So they brought him back now. Mm-hmm. They don't have to deal with his contract. Like Cain said, we can let him go. We can let him go in 5 seconds if he doesn't do anything or if he gets in trouble again. So I just think this was just media speak. That's what I think. I do think that we could use him and his talents. He does have some serious go deep talents, and we haven't been able to get our long threat going on. So I welcome him back. It's just the bullshit that I don't like.
Here's a hot take. Maybe after cutting Martavis Bryant, the Raiders leaked the return of a looming suspension so that nobody would touch him. That's a nice little conspiracy theory for you right there, Raider Nation.
I think that's right on.
I believe that.
Think about that. Justin Ellis gets moved to the IR. Oof. Enter Jonathan Hankins and Clinton McDonald. So the Ellis move, they're telling us it's nothing to worry about right now. I mean, Ellis is really just a plug. He's there to do Yeoman's work and be a wall and plug up that run game. But he's in a walking boot. He's on IR. He can be brought back in week 6. Is that correct, fellas? Week 6, week 7?
I think it's week 8.
I thought it was week 8.
Week 8, okay. So week 8, he can come back. In the meantime, we get Jonathan Hankins and Clinton McDonald. These are two big boys up front that can move the pocket, push the pocket, and plug the run right there. So my question is, Hankins and McDonald, why were they just sitting around there on the waiver wire?
Hankins was playing for Indianapolis, and they didn't want to pay him the money, so they let him go. He's only 27 years old. So my question is, why hasn't anyone looked at him? But you know what? I'll tell you, for us, we are deep at the D-line. Maurice Hurst, but now P.J. Hall is out for this game, so we had to reach a little bit deeper to grab another defensive tackle. But why hasn't anyone picked up Hankins? He's young.
Yeah, he's young. His numbers are okay. He had 2 sacks last year, 24 total tackles. I mean, not too bad, right? I mean, that's a serviceable defensive tackle right there.
He didn't fit Indy's new defensive scheme.
They're going like fast, quick defensive line, like a NASCAR package
back to
type
the White
line.
Freeney type.
Gotcha.
Defensive line.
And, this is going to be a little bit out of the box, what I'm going to say here, but I really think that the reason they picked him up is partially the loss of Mack. Mack, everyone's thinking sacks and pressure on the quarterback, but Mack is the best defensive run lineman in football.
Yeah.
And we lost a run defensive guy there, and I think that Raiders were looking at helping out the run defense. I know he's a tackle, but it was we lost someone that really helped us on the run, and this guy could help us.
Losing Justin Ellis didn't help your run game either.
You're absolutely right.
He was a big part of why Khalil Mack could get in there and stop the run.
Yeah.
Because he garnered a lot of double teams as well in the middle.
So Cain, on that's sort of a double whammy. We lost Khalil, and then we lose Ellis right after that. So I think Gruden and company looked at that and said, you know what, we didn't have any pass rush, which, by the way, I hope we get to talk about because that's a major problem of what's going on. But if you can't stop the run, then you're really dead in the water.
You're really dead in the water. Picked up 31-year-old Clinton McDonald, also, who was in Tampa Bay last year. His number is pretty good. 5 sacks last year, 3.5 sacks the year before that. In 2014, 5 sacks, 5.5 sacks the year before that. He had a big 0 in 2015, only played in 6 games that year. Played 14 last year. I think it's 29 combined tackles is what I'm looking at right here. And just right now, I'm going to take a pause because we got another official original Pillager walking through the door. My man Dakota walking in. How you doing, Dakota?
In the house.
What's up? So, Clint McDonald, you got McDonald and Hankins coming in the mix here. These guys are going to be run stoppers, going to be walls in the middle. P.J. Hall, a big loss, in my opinion, because he may not have been getting the pressure that we expected to see like he was when he was going against the twos in the preseason. But you got a guy that is more stout against the run and is the reason why Maurice Hurst is not starting on this roster, right? He's coming in. He's more of a third down guy. But P.J. Hall, definitely a loss as well. And that's kind of the big loss you're getting with Hall right there is, again, more run stoppage. But you bring in these two big bodies, whether or not McDonald and Hankins hang out for the entire season, is yet to see. We don't really know the severity of P.J. Hall's injury, but that's the way it is right now. Up next, Jalen Richard. So Jalen Richard has finally found an identity on this roster, and you're the one that brought it up. You wanted this in the quick hit segment, so I'm gonna send this over to you. What are your thoughts on Richard right now and what you saw from Monday night, and how he's going to fit in going forward? And can you draw a parallel or a comparison to a player that played underneath John Gruden prior?
Charlie Garner.
Thank you very much.
That's your Charlie Garner back in this offense. And 6 catches, 55 yards will tell you. And he will use him again and again and again. We're lucky we don't have a pass-catching fullback because he'll be using that too. John Gruden loves the backs out of the backfield.
Absolutely.
And he's Charlie Garner-esque.
So if you listen to some of the words that John Gruden has said very recently about Richard, you can tell he's extremely excited about Richard. And he said the great word. You don't listen to Gruden talk. He doesn't say great a lot. He said he thinks Richard can be great. And I agree with him. That drop pass that he had going over the middle, that was a touchdown. And if he gets that touchdown against the Rams, we're looking at potentially a different outcome for that ball game. So I'm not slamming on Richard, but Richard got open and got in a position to catch that ball. And we haven't had a back that can do that. So I think he's really got the skill set to be explosive. And if we use him correctly, we can really have a weapon.
One thing about Jalen Richard that I want to say is he's not consistent in catching the ball, which we saw this game. He dropped a pass, a sure touchdown. He's done that throughout his career with the Raiders.
Right.
He hasn't been consistent catching the ball out of the backfield. So I want to see going forward, is he going to bring more consistency because they're going to use him out of the backfield.
Right.
This is a staple in the offense.
Fair enough. Calling for more consistency out of Richard and Seth Roberts as well. Both guys had a great night on Monday night. I'm telling you, I'm sticking with my hot take. Seth Roberts is going to have a good year. I didn't say great year. I don't think Seth is capable of great, but I think he's going to have a good year. I think he's going to be he's going to be a workhorse in this offense. He's this year's Gruden grinder, mark my words.
I would like to throw in a shout out for Seth because I know he gets tons of grief in Raider Nation. Mm-hmm. But you know what, though? The guy has made some terrible drops. I am the first person to admit that. But can we be honest? Can we be balanced here instead of black and white? Throw a little gray in here. The man has made some clutch catches. And you got to throw that in with the negative, okay?
Yeah.
So the guy's had positive with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All he does is catch touchdown passes in 2016.
Well, hey, I was here in 2015, the last time we beat Denver in Denver, and he caught a huge touchdown in the second half by Derek Carr. So, Raider Nation, I know you've been upset with Seth Roberts, fumbles, drop passes, but he catches touchdowns, and guess what? He might just catch one tomorrow.
And that catch in Denver was absolutely outstanding. That was maybe one of his best catches ever. That was a very contested catch. Yeah. He had someone draped all over him. That was a critical catch.
One of my favorite Jalen Richard catches was a game we played Houston in Mexico. Out of the backfield, he caught that wheel route out of the backfield and took it to the house. That was the first glimpse of what Jalen Richard can do if he's consistent. And all we need is some consistency. That's it.
John Gruden is playing fantasy football with this roster. Now, there's been a lot of transactions, cuts, waiver wires, practice squad maneuvers. What is this? Is this panic? Is this being aggressive? Is this the John Gruden mantra of we're going to do everything we can each week to make this football team better? Or is this a byproduct of not really getting to see what your starters can do in the preseason when your team's sitting on the bench all 4 games?
It's a little bit of everything, right? Because first of all, I think Gruden wants to win right now. So what he's realizing is how bad this roster is. So, every week he's saying, how can I get it better? The second thing is, I think there is a few desperate moves. So, a lot of the blog, a lot of Raider Nation was a little skeptical, but not maybe about Gruden the coach, but Gruden the GM. And I think we're seeing that. I mean, we're not going to go back and mention the Mac trade, even though I just mentioned it. But, I think there is something to be excited about. He wants to win, so he's going to make deals. There's something to be skeptical about. I mean, what the hell is going on? You cut Martavis Bryant, now you're bringing him back. So it's week 1. We need 6 to 8 weeks of watching this team and John Gruden operate before we really panic.
Yeah,
Good point.
I think that's fair enough. And while we're on the topic of keeping it real, I think it's time to move forward and into our next segment. Let's keep it real. Now, this segment is supposed to be kind of an around the league segment, but this week I think we're going to stay focused on the silver and black, and we're going to keep it real.
I keeps it real.
Let's keep it real, guys. How many weeks away are we from a QB controversy in Oakland? Tuck?
Well, I got to be honest here, we're talking to a large audience here, but I'm going to talk to a smaller audience on our blog here. And what I saw after our last game was just pure implosion. Okay, so we had a quarterback that has had a great 2016 season, and yes, he was hurt last year. I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but I guess I'm making excuses for him. But, he had back injuries.
You're standing up for him, man. You're standing up for your guy, man.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? He didn't complain about his back. He didn't complain about these injuries. We kind of found out about these injuries later. And the guy definitely can have some issues. I remember early on in his career with the happy feet and getting rid of the ball quickly. So, look, I understand what the nation is saying. But let's be really honest here.
Let's keep it real.
That's what we're doing.
This is what
right?
we're doing, keeping it real. So at halftime, I remember, even just the announcer saying, "We're looking good. It's 13-10. Gruden's coming out, looking awesome." And he was 20 for 24. Was that what he was at?
Yeah, 20 for 24,
okay, so
190
I want you to be
99
honest
yards.
here. I want every Raider fan to be freaking honest here. Mm-hmm. At halftime, not later, at halftime, were you saying, "Well, what's Carr going on here?" He was throwing quick passes throughout the entire half. Why? Because you got Aaron Donald and you've got Sue in the middle. And that was part of the game plan. That was not Carr panicking and saying, "Oh, my God, I got to be happy feet here."
Right.
It was part of the damn game plan. If you don't believe that, well, then you're clueless. So we were up 13-10 at that point. So nobody was talking about Carr being a disappointment or Carr being this or that. And then we go with the end of the game. We're going to hyperspace to fourth quarter. I know he did not have a good fourth quarter. Even the third quarter is okay. Threw some bad picks. Tried to explain it. Not a good half for Carr. First guy to admit it. But we go from that to throwing the guy under the bus to, is this our future quarterback? Should we get rid of this guy? Excuse me, nation, you're panicking.
Yeah, settle down. I see you're going to get in here, Cain. I'm going to let you go for a minute. But, this is vintage John Gruden. Attack the defensive weakness, play the mismatch. That was the game plan, going into it. And I will say this about the picks. The one where he just threw it away soft and he kind of pulled back his arm, that's on you, Derek. The fade or the short pass in the end zone to Cook, that's on you, Derek. The one that sealed the game, that one's on you, Jared Cook. That was a miscommunication. If you're going to ask me who knows what play is installed better, the quarterback or the wide receiver, I'm going to side with your quarterback every single time. Cain, how many weeks away are we from a QB controversy in Oakland?
If I was to judge it from our blog, I'm gonna say we 1 quarter away. But if I'm speaking to,
I agree.
If I'm speaking to the vast audience that we have, I'm gonna say a couple weeks. I'm gonna say if we see a bad performance from Derek Carr tomorrow,
Look out.
Monday there's gonna be some talk about, is he the man? And let me just say why. Why do we have one of the highest paid offensive lines in the NFL and your quarterback won't stand in the pocket and make throws? That is going to be a question. Whether he can make the throw, whether he can get the pass out there, we don't know, because you won't stand there and make the throw behind a $90 million offensive line.
Yeah.
And that was why they brought those guys in, because of the rumors on Derek, the happy feet, skittish in the pocket, doesn't like pressure in his face. And we're seeing exactly that. We're seeing he doesn't like pressure in his face. He is a little skittish in the pocket. He does have happy feet.
Yeah.
What we're not seeing is he won't run he won't run for a first down. He won't scramble. He doesn't waggle and bootleg. He's not doing all that to avoid pressure. But the oncoming pressure.
The one guy that had him doing that was Bill Musgrave.
Absolutely. He misses Bill Musgrave. Rather, this team, that offense miss Bill Musgrave right now.
But I will also say that the man that Carr credits for helping him with his footwork and settling down was Greg Olson, and that man's now back in the fold. So I'm with you, Tuck. I'm with you, Cain. Let's be patient, but it is a short lease nonetheless. And before I hand this over to 303, I'm going to say this. I'm just going to iron this out for you guys. Derek Carr's not soft, okay, because of what Tuck said. And now I know he had a lot of pressure from the staff last year to get back in there because they didn't put any investment into Connor Cook in the offseason. There was no backup plan, so there was a lot of pressure on him to come back. But Derek Carr also put it on himself, saying, I'm competitive. I didn't miss a single practice after that injury. So, 303, how many weeks away are we from a QB controversy in Oakland?
Are we keeping it real?
We're keeping it real, bro.
So we're keeping it real. Okay, let's go back a little time. First of all, if you did your homework on Derek Carr, which I know our staff did, some had him going 5th overall pick. Some had him going late first. We felt we got lucky in the second. We started him his rookie year. We sucked our rookie year. But, Carr played okay. No one was complaining. We were excited. Go to 2015. He had some great comeback wins. The one win that he had in Oakland against Baltimore where he threw a game-winning touchdown, I think it was to Seth Roberts. That's when I bought my Carr jersey. All right? The game against Pittsburgh, even when we lost. So Derek Carr has had, 5 head coaches, 4 coordinators, horrible defenses every single year. And look at part of his scouting report, too, is he gets skittish in the pocket and he throws it away. Now, so 2014 to 15, he improved. From 15 to 16, of course he improved. He has the NFL record for the most game-winning touchdown throws in the NFL in 2016. The other part of that, he had continuity. JDR was his head coach 2 years in a row. Musgrave was his head coach 2 years in a row. Okay. Then you know what? I'm going to tell you, in 2017, I think he was hurt. And it didn't help that our receivers dropped the ball all the time. So I think it's a combination. Yes, he played bad, and it's concerning. But you know what? The reason that Gruden came to Oakland, in my mind, it's because he's seen Derek Carr, how great he can be. So it's going to take time, Raider Nation. So I would say 8 weeks.
And I'm going to add to that checklist really quick and get out of the way for Tuck, but I'm going to add to that checklist. The turnover ratio for Oakland in 2017 was definitely not in our favor, while in 2016 playing with a short field quite a bit has to boost your confidence. You're seeing balls go into the end zone. You're wilding out. You had to come back from behind victory. Week 1 in New Orleans, it was balls to the wall, right? It was Jack Big Balls Del Rio all season, and it was Big Balls Derek Carr all season too. And it was after that game that they warned Derek Carr stop running because, remember, he acted a fool and dove out of bounds and almost ended his damn career. So there's a lot of things that go into this. I just want to add to that checklist. Yeah. And then, Tuck, I want you to put a bow on this before we move on.
Okay, well, we're keeping it real, so, that's the first thing we got to say. After that is, this is the thing. It's clear, and even from 2014, Carr has a brother named David, okay? And he was hammered for years and years and years. And if you don't think that impacts Derek, you're crazy. And to this day, I still think it impacts him big time. So whether we want to admit that or not, that's real. That's keeping it real.
That's keeping it real. You know what?
The highest paid offensive line is keeping it real too.
I'm getting hammered tonight, so let's just keep it real.
There it is. And here's what I'm thinking. So if he's going to get happy feet and he's going to worry about things around him, this is my message to John Gruden, who won't listen to. Maybe he will listen to this podcast. I don't know. I shouldn't say that.
He has a car.
You did that. You really did that.
So this is what if I were coaching, I would not try to say stand in the pocket and get more balls. I would not do that. I would say if you feel uncomfortable, and he does quite often, and he's still athletic, he's not hurt. He's not a hurt, quarterback like Joe Namath, who got his knees destroyed and couldn't run anymore. He can run. So I would say I would rather him get nervous and get scared and run and just take off.
Do it.
And get 7 or 8 yards and slide than this, I'm scared and I don't know, let me throw it into the stands. That's garbage.
No, just fumble it into the end zone. We'll be just fine.
Or throw an interception.
Yeah, exactly. So how about instead of saying, because what I'm hearing with Raider Nation is, dude, get a sack of balls and throw the ball. How about we don't let him get comfortable because when he throws it, it's okay. When he's uncomfortable, not as Raider Nation is uncomfortable, when he's uncomfortable, which happens a lot, have him run and pick up 5 yards and then when he's comfortable, throw the passes he
The
needs to
nation
throw.
is asking that question because of the second highest paid offensive line. And so when you're saying all of this about Derek Carr, remember, he's behind a $90 million line, and you're still playing whatever you want to call it, scared, skittish, whatever. He's not standing there in the pocket to make the throws downfield. And his coach, I know we got to lead this topic. His coach threw him under the bus and said that we had guys open deep and for whatever reason. So why he didn't say the line wasn't blocking. He didn't say the guys weren't running routes. For whatever reason, we didn't get the ball down there. That's pointing at the quarterback.
I'm just trying to make lemonade.
Yeah, I feel you. And let's keep it real. On the other side of this, Raider Nation's in a panic because John Gruden also said,
Hey, I'm not going to be a real patient guy now.
all right, and that's just keeping it real.
I keeps it real.
We're gonna take a short break here, and when we come back, we're gonna come back with Chase Corner, and then we're gonna wrap up this first segment with Silver and Black Facts. Then we're gonna say peace out, and we're gonna go to this Raider takeover party, enjoy the game tomorrow, and then obviously enjoy the interview with Michael Lombardi. And we'll come back after this with my and Cain's takeaways from the game live, not so live, recorded live, to tape from the Denver International Airport. Raider Nation Pillagers, you've been real. Hold on, we'll be right back with Chase Corner. We're back with Chase Corner. That's right, Chase Corner. Sponsored by NFLShop.com. You can go to PJ4F.com and click on the NFLShop.com banner. Everything that you buy through that link, we get a little piece of the pie. Helps keep our pirate ship on the water and fully stocked with rum. Welcome to the show, Che. How you doing, man? Holding it down out there in the 831.
I'm holding it down out here, man. I'm holding it down in Cali while you guys are out there in Denver. I'm missing my boys, man. I hope you guys are having a good time out there in Denver, man.
Having a great time, man. We 303 Raider took us out. We had a great cheeseburger. We put a cheeseburger inside Cain, and he was happy with it. So that's a win already. Right now we're sitting in 303's kitchen at his basically his kitchen counter, and we're doing the podcast.
That's what's up.
It's Modelo time, fool. And
Modelo time.
That's it, bud. That's it, man. We miss you too. Like Cain just said, it's not Voltron unless we have every Tiger in the mix. So you're missed, brother. But
that's true.
We're going to do our best. We're going to miss your voice tomorrow because Che's a savage. I don't know if you guys know, but Che's a savage. I don't see many people that can hang with Homer. Che's hanging with Homer, dog. If you,
yeah, man, that's why Homer's my dog, bro.
Yeah, hey, Che's a laid-back dude outside the O.co. When he walks through that gate, something happens to this man.
Now, when you say hanging with Homer, is you hanging
I'm ready.
alcohol?
I'm ready for game time, man. It's prime time, bro.
Yes. Cain said, I'm sorry, this is going to come through, but Cain says, hanging with Homer, does he also mean alcohol-wise? And the answer to that is an emphatic yes. Che can handle his chelas, as you will see in the upcoming.
I do, man. Chelas with Che, bro.
Chelas with Che, coming soon to the Pillaging Podcast near you. But Che, let's get into
Coming
it.
to a tailgate near you, bro.
Let's keep it real. But let's get straight to this. I know the fight's about to happen, and maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. But we're really calling you. By the time our listeners hear the show, the game will have already happened. But we're going to go Che Stradamus, and we're going to get the keys to the game from you, Che, right now. These are kind of like early predictions. We're going to see how it washes out the other side and see how close and how accurate you were. What are the keys to beating the Broncos? Because let's not have any misunderstandings. We're beating the Broncos in week 2.
You goddamn right, bro. You goddamn right. I like your style. Thank you for proving me right and believing that Kenny's always got my back. All right,
got your back.
Yeah, hell yeah. The keys to the game. All right, so says Chase Stradamus, man. This is it. All right. We got number one, okay? I'm going to go ahead and talk about shutting down this Denver pass rush. Now, by no means do I feel like this Denver pass rush is what we saw last week. I think the Seattle offensive line is not contending for Pro Bowl status. So I don't think that this defensive line that we saw get 3 sacks by Von Miller is going to be as productive against the Raiders line, which I think is a good line. I think we saw that last week, giving up 1 sack, and that was a stumble by Derek Carr. So I'm looking for us to have to we got to make sure we shut this pass rush down by Denver. And I'm looking over at Penn. I'm looking at that right side. We're looking to see if Penn can hold up his previous status as a Pro Bowler and shut down Von Miller convincingly. So my prediction for this pass rush is that Denver accumulates 1 sack. Von Miller gets half a sack.
Ooh.
Okay.
Hot take.
Okay. All right. I got number 2 here, okay? So we're going to go with the second prediction here. First, the key. Denver we saw a change of I think Denver fans want to believe that their offensive woes have finally come to an end, and they got their guy in Casey Keenum.
This is
I don't know, how
Casey
do you feel about
Kasem
that?
with the countdown.
Yeah. They want to believe that this is their guy, right? He had I guess you could call a pretty successful game last week. Last week against the Seahawks, he went 25 for 39, 329 yards, 3 TDs, but he also threw 3 picks.
Ouch.
Now, obviously, we can't talk too much about that because our boy did the same thing. But that being said, I'm looking for this Raider pass rush to finally wake up, okay? Obviously, we're missing some guys on the line this week. P.J. Hall is out. Jelly's a little banged up. So it's on you, Mo Hurst. It's on you, Arden Key. You guys need to show why we drafted you. You need to get that pressure. Obviously, we got the vet Irvin, but we already know what he does. He's a consistent player for us. It's up to you guys to show us what you can do. So I'm looking at these guys, and I think that that's the key. We got to rattle Keenum and force him into some bad throws and also get our defense some interceptions. Can we please get an interception early this season? I don't want to be waiting till week 10.
Please.
All right? Yes. So our eyes, like I said, will be locked on Hurst and Key to make the difference up front, but also locked on Conley and Melvin, Gilchrist, and dare I say it, Nelson.
I knew you was going to say that.
Nelson to make a difference. I hope he's not there, but by all means, have we heard that he's not in the game? I haven't heard that. Paul Gunther was defending him this week.
He was defending
people
him.
Were asking.
He was defending him. The coaching staff did say the reason why he was in there was due to the dynamic offense and dynamic skill set of the Rams offense and to expect more of Carl Joseph going forward. So we'll see on that. But
yeah, no, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
I think I said.
I'm with you. I'm with you. But he was there last week, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he might not be there this following week, okay? So obviously we want Carl Joseph in there. I hope that's the case, and I hope it turns out well. But here's the prediction on this, bros. Okay, we're going to look at rookie Mo Hurst to get that pressure done inside, which we were missing last week, and we're going to accumulate as a whole. I'm looking for 3 sacks out of this front line, okay? And I'm looking at 1 or 2 interceptions caused by that pressure.
Wow, is it hot in here, guys? Because it's hot take, hot.
This is a hot takes, bro. I'm coming in hot, bro.
I think I did say after the first wave of free agency signings and how we were rebuilding the secondary and the entrance of Paul Gunther that the Raiders would get their first pick by week 2. I think I did say that. And I'll go a little bit further and be more specific on your prediction. And I'll say if your man Reggie Nelson, who's 3,000 years old, gets a pick this weekend, it's going to be a tip. It's going to be off a tip because that's what Reggie Nelson does.
Oh, yeah. We know he's not getting one based off of his fantastic coverage, bro. Okay, we already know that.
Facts. Big facts. Big time facts. So, Che, what else you got? You got more keys to the game?
Yeah, I got one more key.
If that's not enough already, if 5 sacks and 2 picks don't get it done, third key.
3 sacks. I said 3 sacks. Hey, yo. I don't want to sound like a complete homer, but if we get 5 sacks, fucking better.
Fair enough. So if 3 sacks and 2 picks doesn't get enough done, what's the third key?
So the third key is what we saw against Seattle as well. The 2 young running backs for Denver, they went off. Both Freeman and Lindsey accumulated 142 rushing yards total and averaged 4.7 yards per carry, bro. Okay, obviously, if they're running the ball on us like that, that is not a fucking good thing. Did they get in the end zone through the ground? On the ground, no, but they got some touchdowns on the air. I think Lindsey had one in the pass game, but he's not that effective. He had 3 catches for like 20-something yards. Okay, so we don't think that he's going to be this monster killer, catching passes out of the backfield. It's really going to be whether or not we shut down that run game. So my prediction is that we're going to be looking at the defensive line. Obviously, I told you about Hall and Jelly being banged up. Hall's out. The guys up front got to do their job, but also the linebackers, man. So my prediction for the game is Markel Lee, okay?
Oh.
Markel Lee, can you hear me?
I hear you.
All right.
Preach.
Markel Lee is going to have the best game of his young career.
Ooh.
He's going to have double-digit tackles, all right? And he's going to have to effectively shut down this run game, okay? We're going to hold this Denver defense under 100 yards rushing.
Hot.
All right?
Hot. You on fire, bro.
Let's get it done.
After that take, I got to ask you, and it fits right in because Chelas with Che. What are you drinking right now?
What are you smoking right now?
It's a good damn question, bro. Man, I get down with the IPAs, bro. I'm over here with this Lagunitas IPA, but I also got some Stone IPAs. We're gonna have a good ass time. Canelo Triple G is about to go down in an hour or so. So I'm pre-gaming right now, bro.
I'm glad you asked that. As you know, I'm a big Canelo fan myself. And while you're hot with the hot takes, these hot, sizzling, white-hot predictions, give us a prediction on this Triple G Canelo fight. So when it comes out the other end and folks are listening on Monday, they can understand just how much of a genius and a psychic Chase Stradamus really is.
It's either gonna be that or a complete idiot.
Right. But you go hot, bro. These aren't safe takes, bro. These are not skeleton keys. These are handcrafted keys that may or may not fit in the lock. But on Monday we're gonna find out.
This is directly from the minds of Che, bro. All right. Okay. This is from my brainium. Okay.
Chase Stradamus.
So listen, man. I'm a big boxing fan. You already know that.
I know you're a big fan. You're a big
fan
of the science of pugilism. Let's keep it real.
I love it, man. I love it. I grew up watching it. Obviously, longtime Mexican boxing fan, watching Chavez as I grew up. And Canelo's the next man up. Canelo's the next great Mexican boxer. So obviously, I got to have his back. That being said, I watched the first fight. And I think Triple G edged him out in the first fight.
He did.
There's a lot of controversy in that decision. That tie. Obviously, them going 18-10 for Canelo. That's ridiculous. Nobody won the fucking fight 18 rounds. 118 to 110 or whatever it was at the end. Nobody won that. Nobody won it by that many rounds. If they would have given him one round over Triple G, then you could have been like, okay, well maybe you saw things a little bit different in a couple of rounds, but. That being said, I totally expect this fight to be a little bit different. There's been a lot of shit being said, and people are heated. We saw Canelo pushing and shoving. I don't know that that's a good look. I don't know what that says about him, but I do feel that he's a better boxer. And I think that he could have learned a lot in that first fight. First of all, he learned that Triple G is going to take every single one of his fucking punches, and he ain't going nowhere.
Yes.
He ain't going nowhere. That dude has a fucking chin like a mule. He ain't going nowhere. So if you're gonna just waste your time throwing bombs at this dude, you're in for a rough night. So I hope he learned from last fight and he realizes that he's got to be in this for the long haul. This is gonna be a 12-round fight. If he's gonna win this fight, it's gonna be 12 rounds. Knockouts happen because you're not looking for the knockout. So he can't be doing that. If he is, he's not gonna have a good night. So
Don't mess with Kazakhstan.
I'm giving Canelo a decision. It's going to be a close fight. It's going to be another great fucking fight, but I think he pulls it out by decision this time legitimately because he learned a little bit from the first fight, man.
Okay. All right. I like it. Chase Stradamus over here giving his hot takes, giving his predictions, possibly reading the future. This is the man that predicted the Raiders were going to go 27-6 last year, I think was your prediction. Or was it 27-5? You're close. We ended up going 6-10, but it was an off year.
Hey, come on, bro.
Like 13-3.
Remember when I have bad when I make bad calls. But the year before, I called 12-4. You heard it.
You nailed it. You did. You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. Man, Shay, it's great talking to you, man. I wish you were out here with us. We got to make a road trip next year for sure. Before we're making road trips
brother.
permanently. Before we're making permanent road trips, you and I have to make a road trip. And I pray to God they're in Oakland next year. Brother, enjoy the fight. It's great talking to you. I will download all my experience when I get back, and you can tell me what it was like watching it on TV, because let's be honest, you're going to see a lot more. You're going to hear a lot more than we are. But we're going to be out there yelling for you and holding it down for the Raider Nation and for the Pillaging crew.
Hell yeah. All right, brother, man. It was great hearing from you guys, man. I look forward to seeing you and celebrating this W, bro.
Cheers to that, brother.
Peace out, bro.
And
Peace, brother.
Tell the family I said hi. Shout out to Nez. Make sure you check out his music. Shout out to OJ, the producer. Che, keep it real. I'll talk to you real soon, brother.
All right, brother.
Peace. All right, that was Che's Corner, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep it moving, though. I know it's getting late, guys. I know we got a Raiders takeover to attend to. You got a ball game to go to, 3:03. But we got to move on. We got one more segment, and that's Silver and Black Facts.
Fact.
All right, this week, Oakland Raiders tight end Jared Cook was the team's highest-graded player against the Rams with an 89.6 overall grade. Cook ranked second among all tight ends that ran for 10 or more routes in Week 1 with 4.74 yards per route run. Ranked first with 6.53 yards per route run from the slot, and that's key. The mismatch in the slot was a big part of the game plan. What do you guys think of Jared Cook this week? Are you guys high on Jared Cook going into this game after a big one?
I think Jared Cook is going to have another big game. I think with the cornerbacks that Denver has, it's going to be hard to get the ball to Jordy Nelson and Amari Cooper. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to, like I said, go deep early and often, and we're going to have to use the tight end over the middle, try to burn some of those linebackers.
I mean, Cook's a mismatch for pretty much any defense, but I do think, the Denver, Stewart, I think is their strong safety. He's a good cover corner. So same with Simmons. He's a good cover safety. So I think we're going to see more wide receivers. I don't think Cook is going to have as big as an impact this week.
I look at this a little differently. I look at this as a reflection of John Gruden's intelligence. The Rams have some great cornerbacks, and they shut down our wide receivers. So because of that, they had the middle of the field open. That's why we saw the tight ends open, particularly Cook. And that's why we also, Rashard and others, with a lot of the passes were coming from the running backs. So to me, I was actually encouraged by this because it showed that we had, a non-robotic coaching staff that adjusted to what the situation was. So I agree actually with 303 here. I don't necessarily think we're going to see the same thing for Cook. And I think that Cook was a reflection of what the defense gave us, and we took it. So I don't know what we're going to see this week with Denver, but it is encouraging that we have a very reliable tight end, no doubt.
Fact.
Raiders quarterback Derek Carr was pressured on 12 of his 42 dropbacks against the Rams and completed 5 of 11 attempts for 52 yards and 2 interceptions. Carr was sacked once and had a 20.1 passer rating when pressured. So key to this game, you've already heard it. Keep Miller, keep Chubb off of Derek Carr. Keep him clean, and let's start building his confidence right now. This is it. Carr's only won one game in Oakland. And in Denver. My bad. That seems to be the temperature of Raider Nation now.
That's pretty severe there.
Freudian slip again, short on sleep, but only one game in Denver. Let's see if we can get one done. It would mean a lot for this team as far as setting the momentum for the rest of the season, and really getting back on the right track because it's week 2, and I feel like for the sake of everyone's sanity, we're in must-win football territory right now.
Fact.
John Gruden has never won a game in Denver, Colorado.
I mean, let's make it happen tomorrow. I mean, Shanahan owned Gruden. I mean, that's the bottom line. Never had a horrible record, especially here. So, I'm excited about this game. And I'll mention this right now. It's really important that Derek doesn't pass the ball 40 times. We need to play with a lead because that way you shut down the passing defense, you shut down Miller, and you shut down Chubb. Because if those two pin their ears back, forget about it. Just forget about it. We need to run the ball much better than last week.
Fact.
Raiders safety Reggie Nelson played all 63 snaps against the Rams and recorded a 48.3 overall grade. Just goes to say, Reggie Nelson, he was like our trash can player of the week 4 weeks in a row, I believe, at one point. And that was in 2016.
What is he still doing on the team?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Gunther.
They can't see Carl Joseph. He's too short.
Fact.
They can't see him.
He wouldn't be here if it weren't for Gunther. Let's just be honest. That's the only reason he's here, and even Gunther's shaking his head at this point, I think.
Fact.
Monday night's loss was Derek Carr's first 3-interception game. Who pointed this out earlier? Who brought this up?
303.
I mean, I was crying after the game. I mean, Derek Carr's never thrown 3 interceptions. Remember, a couple years ago, he only had 6. In 2015, he had 32 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. You would take that in 15, and we were 7-9. 6 interceptions in 2017 or 2016. He's never thrown 3 picks. He never will again.
Fact.
Las Vegas odds makers knocked the Raiders' win total down a half a game after the Khalil Mack trade. Tuck, you brought this up. Talk about it.
Yeah, this is the hysteria that we see in Raider Nation, where we shouldn't trade Mack, and we can't get rid of him, and the planet is falling apart, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I agree. I didn't want to see Mack go either. But let's be honest here. Money talks, and when the money talks, we lost Mack, and what happened? We went from 9 wins to 8.5 wins. Now, let's be honest here, nation. If we lost Carr in an ACL incident, we'd lose 10 times that, meaning 5 wins. So, is it so bad? Is it so bad that we lost him? Yeah, it's terrible. But I tell you what, the 2 first-round picks we have might be worth it relative to the amount of money we would have had to pay him. I know I'm going to get blown up over that, but that's what I feel.
Fact.
I promised the Pillagers we wouldn't go on a Khalil Mack diatribe, so we're just going to leave that right there. Teams with new head coaches last week, week 1, brand new coaches, went 0-7. That's a fact. Cain, talk about that. I think this feeds into the be patient mantra we should be talking about. Talk about it.
Absolutely. We need to be patient. First of all, last week we played a Rams team that's Super Bowl bound. They looked the part, played the part. Number 1 offense in the NFL last year, possible number 1 defense this year. We're a team on the rise. So I didn't expect us to win last week. I expect us to win this week. Denver is not Denver is not the Rams. So that's my take right there. We better win this week.
We better win this week.
Amen.
With that, the weekend begins, fellas. It's game day as far as I'm concerned from this moment on. It's been awesome sitting here. It's been awesome sitting in your house. Dakota, we love you too. We're going to talk. We're going to the game tomorrow, so we're going to have plenty of time to talk. Do you want to get on the mic here and say a little
come on,
something?
Dakota, say
How far
something.
did you come? And let's talk about your time on the blog and when you started with Pillaging Just for Fun. Actually, prior to that.
Go back to the
if you will, prior to that.
It's been about 11 years I've been on the blog. I've been on the blog about 11 years, and it's been quite a ride. A lot of controversy. Cain, you probably know that firsthand, but just try to mix it up and keep it real.
Controversy on my blog. Controversy. That's right.
I've been blogging with you for 11 years, bro. Damn, that's a long time.
11 years.
I got to say, I've been spending a lot of time on Twitter because we're trying to grow the brand. We're trying to get the show out there. We feel like our culture and community, we want to bring that out. The style, the way that we approach the Raiders, we want to spread that because we have a family, and I really see the energy there. I want people to share in that because I think it captures the essence of Raider Nation. So those of you on social media, that's cool. You guys are out there with your takes. But I got to say, if you really want to cut your teeth and you want to swim with the sharks, come down to the little comment section on PillagingJustForFun.com. Don't take it for granted.
Take a plunge.
That's it. Swim with us.
It's one splash you'll love.
Bring your knives.
Yeah, bring your knives. It's a gunfight, but bring a big sword anyway.
And don't be scared. They don't bite.
They don't bite. Maybe a couple of them. We got a cat that likes to bite. But Dakota, man, what's your thoughts on tomorrow's game? Let's give us that before we get out of here.
I think it's probably the most pivotal second game of a season that I've ever seen.
Wow.
I think that if things go south tomorrow, I think it's going to be a long season. I think Derek Carr might be on the hot seat after tomorrow if things go bad.
Here's what I got to say, because when John Gruden returned, a lot of people were saying, can he coach the modern-day player? He wasn't coaching in the 1970s. Let's keep it real, okay? Yeah, they didn't have cell phones back there. My question is, and this is kind of ironic because he's coming from it, can he coach with the modern-day media? Because nobody's been asking that question. And we're starting to see what that looks like already, because these knee-jerk reactions and these clickbait headlines, it what makes the NFL globe spin around and around in 2018. Now, John was never a talking head quite like that, but he was a part of that family. He was on that side of the fence. Ironic that he comes back this way, and after just one loss, you're going to crucify him? Just because you guys were all excited.
Hey, he doesn't care if he's a bad guy. So
yeah.
he can coach in this media in this time.
I'll say it again. It was the first loss he's had in 10 years. Okay, fair enough. But you're already jumping on him. And let's also keep it real. A lot of these people, not in the media, but just in Raider Nation, were the same one that said he was going to bring us a Super Bowl to Oakland the minute he walked through the door.
Bullshit.
What did we say? Cautious optimism. That's what we said. And that's right where we are today. Week 2 starts tomorrow. Oakland Raiders versus the Denver Broncos. We out here, the Pillaging Podcast. Stay tuned for Michael Lombardi. Boys, it's been great talking to you.
Raiders.
Raider Nation, baby.
Yeah, bring it on, brothers.
Just win.
Cheer. All right, we'll see you guys on the other side. Go Raiders. Have a good time. Enjoy the game.
We're joined today by Michael Lombardi. Mr. Lombardi has had a long career in the NFL, starting out as a scout for Bill Walsh and the 49ers, before working as a pro personnel director for the Cleveland Browns under Bill Belichick. 10 years later, Mr. Lombardi would become the senior personnel director under Al Davis in 1998 and would ultimately reunite with Belichick in 2014 as an assistant to the Patriots coaching staff. I'm obviously leaving a lot off the table, but your resume is quite extensive. We're very pleased to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be here. Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Tell our audience a little bit about how they can follow you on social media and where they can find your new book, Gridiron Genius.
Well, Gridiron Genius came out on Tuesday, September 11th. It's available online at any of your favorite retailers online, and it's available in any bookstore worldwide. You can find it Barnes & Nobles or any of your favorite book retailers. And let's see, I started out with the 49ers. I went to Cleveland. I was fortunate enough to meet Bill in '91 when he became the head coach. I met him actually in 1989 at the Hilton Hotel in Mobile, Alabama, and then bounced. Went to the Raiders, and then had another stint back in Cleveland, and then kind of got back with Bill again in 2014.
And you've been a busy guy ever since. Either we respect the hustle, Mike. You're really getting after it out there.
I think it's fun. I wanted to have one of the reasons I decided to leave the NFL is I want to have another career. I don't want to just kind of go, obviously I've spent 30 years in the NFL. I've got a good pension coming to me eventually, but I want to start a career as a writer, and that's why I wrote the book.
Absolutely. Very impressed by the book. I read it. Had a great time. I feel a lot smarter now. I think my brain's swelling a little bit from all the information, all the great anecdotes in there. And for those of you that are kind of scheme fiends that really enjoy learning about the X's and O's in football, this is not a book of purely anecdotes. You're going to learn a lot about what happens on the gridiron. The title says it all. I recommend you go out there and pick up this book today. Also, Crown Publishing has been kind enough to send us 4 copies of the book. We'll be giving those away over the course of the next few shows. Best caller today is going to get a free copy of the book this week. So please hit those phone lines, 408-909-PJFF, as you already know. So let's get into it. We're a Raiders podcast, and we're very interested in some Al Davis stories, and we'll cover a little bit more. But in the book, first off, you recount a time when Al called to speak with you and ended up on the phone with your mother, deep in a conversation about jazz singer Billy Eckstein. He sounded like quite the charmer, Mike. This story sticks out because these aren't the type of stories you hear associated with Al. Was he misunderstood to a certain degree?
Oh, I think he was very charming. I mean, he certainly had the ability to turn on the charm, and he had interest outside of football. Many people really don't know that. I don't think he wanted people to know that, but he loved music. and he loved certain style of music. He loved certain foods, and so yeah, I mean, he certainly did. And when I came home that day, my mother said, "This guy Al called. He wanted to talk to you." She had no idea, but it was fun. He was well read. He was a patriot. I mean, first and foremost, he was born on the 4th of July. He was all about world events. He understood it, and he could always. I learned so much from him in the sense that he made me think differently when things were being reported and how things were reported. I talk a story about Lyndon Johnson when he was in the White House, and he would read the morning paper every day and circle who was the sources in the Washington Post. And when he couldn't figure out the source, he would call Ben Bradley on the phone, 6:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and tell Ben Bradley, who's that source on Health and Human Services and who's that source on economic development, because those guys were in the hospital yesterday or whatever. Lyndon Johnson knew sources in the paper, and so did Al.
Wow. Yeah, Al was never afraid to pick up the phone and get to the bottom of a problem. And I think for those of you out there that don't know a lot about Al behind the scenes, I think it's obvious to see that he was interested in more than football, and he approached everything differently than everyone else, from the way he scouted players to the way he hired his personnel. I mean, if you look at the diversity underneath the Oakland Raiders and the amount of lines that they crossed and walls that they broke down under Al Davis, I think it speaks a lot to the man who he was both on and off the field. Just an incredible man. You were with the Raiders during their upswing right around the turn of the century, 98, and for several years after. The hiring of John Gruden and the ensuing roller coaster ride that resulted in our head coach being traded only to end up on the opposing sideline during Super Bowl 37. What was the temperature of the organization at the time that John Gruden came on board?
Well, look, Al spent a lot of time. In fact, I wasn't officially there until after John got hired, but I'd been in a lot of conversations with Al and tried to talk to him about hiring Bill Belichick. And Belichick and Gruden came out for the interviews, and he picked Gruden because ultimately Al liked to have his hand involved in the defense. And so he always wanted to have an offensive coach kind of run the offense and then have his hand in the defense, and that would have not probably worked with Belichick. So, and John came in and ran the offense and did a great job. And I think John was a better coach because of Al, because he was able to focus just on coaching offense and, not as much involved in the personnel and doing all those things. So even though John had a say and Al listened to everybody, we all met on the draft and everything. So, but I think it's, when you can learn from game management, something that's so missed. I mean, last night we saw 2 indications of it in the game that were just huge blunders. I mean, Cincinnati at the end of the first half, throwing 3 passes and not starting the clock and essentially giving up a touchdown. And then Baltimore trailing by 11 points with 2 minutes to go in the game. And once they got in field goal range, they don't kick the field goal.
Right.
They just keep running the clock down. And so therefore they have no chance to even win the game. They never gave themselves a chance to win the game. And even though you say, well, the game was over. Yeah, it was. But Tucker can kick a 50-yard field goal. Once he makes it and you onside kick it, now you're throwing the ball in the end zone for a chance at tying. So it's a different game. So Al would have been upset with both those situations.
What's ironic is I got home late last night, so I'm watching the game on replay, and I'm actually rereading the pet peeve section of your book, which comes towards the end of the book. And as I'm reading that section, that's going down on the field, and it's just an odd case of reality mirroring itself. And I'm like, I'm in the Matrix right now because this can't be happening. This is just too much of a coincidence, and you're not the only one yelling at your TV set when I see things like that. Pet peeves might be one of my favorite parts of that book.
Thank you. Yeah, I tend to mute the TV too often. And a lot of this is from Al. Al, if you watch the game with Al, he would be cursing at the announcers, and really getting mad because, look, football is the most popular sport in America, and it's probably the least sport, the sport we know least about from the coach's life, from the personnel side. And part of that, as I wrote about in the book, it's not the players' fault. The players played the game, and certainly they're warriors on the field, and they did it. But they played their position. They didn't play the whole game, and so it's a hard sport to understand what everybody does all the time.
Yeah, it does. It's definitely shrouded in mystery, and when you get into the Oakland Raiders history, there's definitely quite a bit of mystery there. Very secretive organization, and still is, and that carries over to many organizations in football. Now, you touched on something just a couple minutes ago when it came to the draft and being there during that time. One of my co-hosts, Raider Cain, he had a question he wanted me to throw at you. So Al obviously gets a lot of well-deserved credit for the great teams he built. He's also been criticized for some of the moves he made along the way. However, we know some of the great Raider teams were called together not only by just Al. He had help at times. For instance, the great Ron Wolf, heavily involved in personnel decisions starting in the 1960s, helped to draft some of the greatest Raiders ever to don the silver and black. How involved were you and the scouts in building the team that ended up in Super Bowl 37?
Well, I think everybody played a huge role. I mean, whether it was the signing of Rod Woodson or, the signing of actually Jerry Rice and some of the players that we had on the team. Barry Sims, was a kid that we signed. That was actually the first player I ever signed at the Raiders. And we drafted Matt Stinchcomb in the first round as the starting left tackle. And Barry Sims we signed as a college free agent after the draft, and he ended up being our starting left tackle over Matt Stinchcomb for a long time. Mm-hmm. So, I think everybody plays a part. Everybody had a huge role in the selection of players, whether it was Charlie Gardner. We put together a good team, but it all started really with the great Rich Gannon. I mean, Gannon made that go.
Yeah.
Gannon's ability to compete and his work ethic and his ability to bring culture to the organization really allowed us to have that success. And John's ability to develop Gannon also was huge in that area as well.
Are there any Al Davis stories that didn't make the book? Is there any anecdote you'd be willing to share with us today?
There's so many of them. I mean, I talked about it in the book about playing Jeopardy with Al. He would call you and ask you a question, but basically he would frame it as, you had to answer in question form. So that was always fun, and it kept you on your toes. I mean, Al loved to study things. Like people ask me all the time, why do you guys why do the Patriots bring in all these former first-round picks? Well, that's an Al thing. Mm-hmm. Al used to make me go through the league, and I'm sure he did with every other guy that worked there, count how many first, second, and third-round picks were on the roster. It didn't mean that you drafted them in the first, second, or third round, just that their pedigree was first, second, or third round. And then you add that total up, and Al always wanted to be over 30 in that number. And that told Al the pedigree of the team. And so it just he had his way about it. The game was always about matchups, who's playing, who's not. How can we attack them? It forced you to think differently as opposed to just watching the game.
Sound like there's a lot of parallels there between him and Bill Belichick, and then, more currently now, possibly even John Gruden, who's a film junkie, definitely attacks the game in a different way and is constantly thinking of different angles and different matchups and different favorabilities for his team to win. Let's talk a little bit about John Gruden. Obviously, we only have one game in the books, but do you feel like John can have success after being off the sideline for 10 years? I know that's a hot question. It's been going on all offseason, but I'm interested in what your take is on it.
I don't think the time away is going to affect John. I think the concern John has is he's going to have to get Derek Carr to throw the ball down the field.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be the challenge. And Carr's never done it. I mean, the year the Raiders went to the playoffs that Carr got injured, his yards per attempt was at 7.0.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't win high level in the NFL. It's averaging 7 yards per attempt. You just can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take checkdowns. You have to throw it down the field. And Al would be going crazy with the idea that his team averaged 7 yards per attempt. So that's the challenge in front of John.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a tough challenge.
And I think the knock, too, on John Gruden and his West Coast offense is that's what it's designed around. But when you really go back, and you could actually watch some of these games that are out there on YouTube. I was going back and watching them all offseason because I'm geeking out, the nostalgia factor. And if you watch those games, Rich Gannon's throwing the ball downfield. I think that's a common misunderstanding. I think people are kind of remembering that wrong. Yes, there were a lot of checkdowns during that time. We were utilizing Charlie Garner and the quick slants of Brown and Rice and have you. But they were throwing the ball downfield. Rich Gannon can let it rip. So you answered my next question already. I was going to ask you if John Gruden is the guy that can unlock the keys to the car and get him to go downfield. But I guess that remains to be seen, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's look, Carr's a second-round pick for a reason, right? He didn't really throw the ball down the field. He held the ball. He didn't hold the ball long enough in Fresno State, and he's got all the talent in the world, and certainly he's got to develop this. And this doesn't mean he can't do it. It just means he's going to have to try to get it done. This is where his career meets the fork in the road. If he's going to be paid in the $20 million range and he wants to be considered one of the top players in the league, he won't be considered that if he averages 7 yards per pass attempt. He has to be higher. He has to work the ball down the field, and he's got to be able to keep his interception percentage down when he does it. That's going to be critical. You can't score in the NFL. You read the book. You're not going to score running the ball.
No. Yeah.
All running the ball does is allow you to kick field goals. Running the ball is field goals. Where you score is make explosive plays. When you average over on first down, especially when they're in a coverage that you can predict based on formation and you can attack them down the field, you've got a much better chance at scoring.
Yeah, you talk about the key, the importance of those 20-yard plus plays, and when you look at the number of those in a game, and the breakdown of that, and the measure of success in the win-loss column, it's just a direct correlation. That kind of insight really blew my mind in the book. There's these little kind of Easter eggs in there where when you really start to like strip away all of the extra frosting that's around it, and you look at the actual kernels of what determines a win and a loss. Very interesting stuff. I want to pivot a little bit right here. You've been credited as one of the first NFL executives to study the science of scouting players for moral character. During this year's draft, John Gruden talked about putting a Raider sticker next to guys that wanted to play football. They put a lot of emphasis into the interviews. They interviewed a lot of guys. But that being said, there's a guy on this roster, Martavis Bryant. He's had some difficulties during his time, to say the least, his time during the league. He's back on the roster. They re-signed him this week. Can you give us any insight into Martavis Bryant? What do you think about this guy? I don't know if you've had direct contact with him, but just at least with your experience, what do you make of Martavis Bryant? Does he have a shot to succeed, or should we expect more of the same out of him?
Well, I think it's all about his talent, right? So he's got enough talent to play. That's not the question. It's about his desire and work ethic and a commitment.
Right.
And he's got to, football is a sport. You got to put everything besides. Football character is about how much do you really want to play football, and will you let the things off the field affect you that keeps you off the field, that keeps you on the field. And so far, Brian has done that. He has done the things off the field that limits his amount of playtime socially. So, I think it really comes down to his desire, his work ethic, what kind of conditioning he's in. John talked about it. He wasn't in great shape. He was not able to stay in the practices. He wasn't able to do the things he needed him to do. And durability is as important as ability. So, to me, the jury's out on Martavis Bryant. There's a lot of guys in the league that always have that talent, but the talent means nothing until they turn it into something else. And practice execution becomes game reality. And if you can't do it in practice, you're not going to do it in the game.
Absolutely. Can't argue with that either. Let's pull back a little bit. Let's take a broader look at the league. And it's early in the season, but, it's never too early to start talking about playoff caliber teams. Who, in your opinion, right now, should we expect to see in this year's Final Four? What's your early season prediction for the AFC and NFC championship games?
Well, look, I think Jacksonville could be there. I think Blake Bortles is the great equalizer, though. If they had a quarterback of, he keeps everybody else in the game. He keeps them from running away with the thing because they have the most talented defense. They have great speed. Miles Jack is one of the best players in football. They got a defensive front. Calais Campbell's playing at a high level. So there's not a question that they shouldn't be one of the best four teams in football. And the only reason they won't be is because Blake Bortles turns the ball over, doesn't make the throws he needs to make. And that could be a concern. I think it's so early to tell. September is an extension of preseason, and it's really hard to understand what teams are doing and how they're handling situations. And I'm not sure we can really gauge it accurately. But just on the surface, it looks like the Rams have enough offense and defense and special teams. They're really good in the kicking game, and they're good on defense. They can rush the passer. They've got a dominant inside defensive player, which is really important because right now quarterbacks can step up from the edge pressure. They can't step up when there's pressure in their face. When you can get into the paint, and I write about this in the book, we never talk about this on television. The most critical spot a defensive lineman has to get to is the paint. And that's like in basketball. It's the spot in front of the quarterback. And if you can't get into the paint, you can't affect the throw. And so that's what's happened. Khalil Mack's a great player, but he runs past the quarterback often.
Does.
And the quarterback has yet to turn around and run that way. He always steps up in the pocket. So being past the quarterback's the worst place to be in football. But Aaron Donald, he attacks the paint on every single play, and that's a huge problem.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say on a side note, I've been listening to you. You made your rounds on local radio. I'm out here in the Bay Area. You made your rounds on local radio the last couple of weeks, and obviously Khalil Mack, the topic of discussion. We're not going to get into that here, but I do encourage our listeners to go hunt down those interviews because much like us on the show, I think you two might kind of it calmed the nerves of Raider Nation saying, hey, look, this is the way it shook out. The Bears overpaid for a guy like Khalil Mack? Does his talent put him as an elite player? Yes. Do elite players get paid a lot of money? Yes. But now you're hamstrung to that. You don't have a quarterback. You can't pay a quarterback right now. And the Raiders come out the other end with 2 first-round draft picks and a huge relief of burden on their against their salary cap going down the road in the future. It creates more opportunities. Now, will they have the opportunity to draft another guy like Khalil Mack? Probably not. But at the same time, the more talented players you add to the roster, the stronger you get. This is a team sport. It's not an individual sport.
I couldn't agree more, and I think that's what has to be answered.
So let's talk about this. The Raider Nations, they're thirsty for a Super Bowl. I was watching you on, I think, the Rich Eisen show, and you got this massive, massive ring on your hand. Do you get hand cramps? Does it affect you when you're shaking hands? Do you got to...
I don't wear it often. It's usually I keep it in a safe. It's my grandson's ring, so I just borrow it from him from time to time. But, it's a great tribute to... it's a great honor to have it, and it's I've got 3 of them, and I've been to 4 Super Bowls, so it's a great remembrance of a great career for me, at least.
Yeah, be proud of that. That thing is beautiful and definitely a testament to everything that you've accomplished. So we like to get a little bit personal sometimes in our interview here towards the end. So I wanted to ask you. I listened to your interview on the Ringer podcast. Great episode, by the way. Good show overall. We're here at the Pillaging Podcast. We love talking about food. We feel like food is very much tied to the culture of football. In that interview, you mentioned your strong affinity for diners. Is that tied to your roots and where you're from?
Yeah, I love diners. I mean, I grew up in New Jersey. You know, Highway 9, Bruce Springsteen is right in front of the house. You know, I live in a little beach town. I grew up in a little beach town. And so diners are huge back here. And so there's nothing like a great diner. It's a great place to meet people. It's a great place to observe. And if you like to write, there's a lot of characters that come in diners, and it's a lot of fun to see. So, yeah. And, diners are good. Diners have, you don't go to a diner and think you're going to get a gourmet food. You just got to get something really solid. So it's fun back here. I enjoy it. And when I'm in the East, like I am today, I always hit a diner.
Do you got a top 5 or a top 3 or at least one go-to spot?
One of the best diners I've ever been to is called the Pancake House. It's up in Jersey City. It's the Brownstone Pancake House. It's incredible. It's the most amazing diner you've ever been to. I would recommend anybody in the Jersey City area to hit that place hard.
So I got my go-to dish. It's my litmus test when I walk into a diner. I order it, and depending on how that is, I'm going to judge your diner. But I do know diners have specialties. But what's your litmus test? What's the thing? You go into an unknown diner, you look at the menu. Do you have a go-to dish that you're going to order and evaluate them on?
It's all going to be pancakes. It's got to be pancakes. It's all about the pancakes when you go to a diner, because you're going to a diner for breakfast, so it's about the pancakes. And you got to get pancakes. You get eggs on top of the pancakes, no syrup, and that tells you everything you need to know.
Wow, I like that. You let the egg over easy, over medium, let the yolk run over it.
There you go, right over it. And that's you don't need toast. You got the pancakes.
There you go. See, I'm a savory pancake, savory waffle guy as well. I don't mind the syrup, but I think that blows a lot of people's minds. Listen, people, if you haven't tried it, give it a shot. I take waffles and I make like grilled cheese sandwiches out of them.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, you're making me hungry, Mike.
I got to get this call, so it's 4:30.
All right, take care, sir.
There.
All right, and that's Mike Lombardi. Make sure you guys definitely pick up the book Gridiron Genius. No, it's not all about Al Davis. It's not all about the Raiders. But if you're fiending for more football knowledge, this is definitely a book you want to check out. You'll definitely learn a lot from it. I enjoyed it. It's a pretty quick read, a couple hundred pages, but chock full of information. So it's 1:30 Pacific Standard Time here in the Bay Area. This interview is pre-recorded. This is Friday afternoon, and tomorrow morning I fly out early out of Oakland Airport. Going to be meeting up with Cain out there in Denver. He has a little bit later flight than I, but we're going to rendezvous at the Denver airport, and we're meeting up with 303 Raider on Saturday, one of our bloggers, and then Dakota is going to be joining us for the game on Sunday. So the 4 of us are all going to the game at Mile High. We're going to be out there tasting some of the delicious food, and I can't promise anything, but you're listening to this on the first segment of the show. So we're hoping to get out to the Raiders rally on Saturday night and possibly get some audio from some of the Raiders' former players that'll be out there. And if not, at least some members of Raider Nation. I can't guarantee that. I don't know if they're going to let me bring my recording gear into the facility, but we're going to give it a shot. We're definitely going to be watching the Canelo fight. This will already have taken place by the time you've heard this show, but I'm just letting you know. Also coming up on the show, definitely your calls. Best caller this week, again, gets a copy of the book. If you're interested in the book, We got 3 more copies after that, so we'll continue doing giveaways, maybe bring back the hashtag challenge and so forth. And then at the end of the show, you'll have Cain and I's reaction to the game. We'll probably be recording that in the airport, so stay tuned for that. That should be interesting. And again, we appreciate all your support. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Pillage Just for Fun, on Instagram, The Pillaging Podcast, _Pillaging_podcast. Also, definitely check out the brand new website, the RaidersPodcastNetwork.com. That'll kind of be a hub for all the shows that we're releasing over the next few months. And last but not least, I want to ask you guys, continue to donate to the show. We got more coming. We used a lot of the funds that you guys sent to create our tailgate and our mobile broadcasting gear. So we want to thank you guys for that. You really made that possible. The next thing is really improving the video production value on YouTube. We've identified some things that we want to do. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag just yet, but I got some great ideas for that. And we're really going to polish that thing up so that you appreciate it even more than you already do. We really appreciate your support. And we got a new pillager, Kevlar prom dress. I want to say she's new, but she's new to the team here, new to the street team. She's running our Facebook page over there on Facebook. So you just look up the Pillaging Podcast and join our page over there. We really appreciate to see you over there. I know some of you guys are on Facebook more so. Myself, not so much. That's why we enlisted the services of Miss Heidi. So we appreciate that, Heidi. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Very much so. And check out Just Win Ladies. They had a good episode this last week. They'll be dropping some more fire next week. Those shows usually come out, I believe, on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Might have that release schedule wrong, but Tuesday or Wednesday for sure. You can check out their show and follow them on Twitter too. It's been real. I'm going to miss the Bay Area for the next couple days, but it's wheels up. And see you guys when we get back. Go Raiders.
What's going on, Pillagers? I know this is a hard time for a lot of us. A lot of us is expecting to win this game. I was one of them. But I'm here to tell you, as a real Raider fan, bro, don't let the gloom and doom of the media or even maybe your own gloom and doom get to you, because the truth of the matter is, this is a process. The very first time the Oakland Raiders had Coach Gruden, we went 8-8 in his first season. To be honest, a lot of predictions we were going to go anywhere from 9-7 to 11-5. 2 losses in the beginning of the season doesn't change any of that. So what I'm here to say is this. This is a new team. This is not 2016 team. We need to let that team at season go. We need to appreciate what we had and realize we're in a different place right now. This football team needs to learn how to win. Did it have more talent than the other team that we played against? Yes, it was obvious we were a more talented team, but that doesn't equate into victory. So, we're back in the process of learning how to win. I believe this football team can learn that quickly. And I believe this fan base needs to realize where we're at and accept it. And what I mean by that is, we'll be jumping off cliffs talking about how terrible life is because we went 0-2 at the beginning of the season. We're learning a new system, the whole 9. And so, regroup and hold the line, even if you have to take on more than one at the same time. There's no time for crying for those who fell down by the wayside. Don't stop swinging your sword to your adversary, stack waist high. And that's what the Raiders will do. So, I love y'all. We took one on the chin, but that's where you begin, bro. To learn how to fight back. You can't fight back without getting punched in the mouth. And so that's where we're at. We got punched in the mouth. Now it's time for us as fans to watch the reaction of the Oakland Raiders. See if they're worth the praise, if they're worth the worship. I'm, for one, believe that they are.
Kenny, Cain, Che, good freaking Lord. This is 303, your boy, calling from warm, hot Denver. Well, I mean, come on, Carr played great. Anyone says that he doesn't or whatever towards the end, shut the hell up. Defense gassed out, but man, 4th and 1, drop, catch, up 9. I mean, that's the game, man. I mean, I don't know what to say. You can't blame Gruden for his fullback dropping the ball. So all the negative Nancy's, get the hell out of here. Definitely improved. Mile High is a tough place to play. I'm not giving up on the season. I still think, my prediction was 8-8, 9-7. I'm sticking with it. So go Raiders. It was great to have you guys out. Can't wait for the podcast. On to Miami. This is 303, and I'm out.
Hey, this is Joseph in the high desert. Just coming off the loss to the Denver Broncos. The defense looked really good, and the offense looked really good as well. We just need to find a way to win these close games, and I'm just tired of listening to people bitch about this and about that. And that is pretty much all I have to say. Rock and roll. Keep up a good work.
Hey, Pillaging Podcast, new fan out of the Pacific Northwest of Lacey, Washington, originally from the Bay Area. Love what you guys are doing. Found out about you through the Mikey Raider episode. Thank you for showing them some love, and I love your breakdown. Anyways, I just want to talk about last week's Monday night matchup that no one's talking about. Marcus Peters and Akeem Talib played in the AFC West against Derek Carr for the past 3 freaking years, okay? You want to talk about 2 quarterbacks that know him better than anybody and he throws 3 picks? Yeah, no smoke, man. All right, that's something that everyone's ignoring. I feel good about this Sunday. We're just getting clowned by everybody, think we're not going to win. But you know what? Screw Case Keenum. Screw the donkeys. Let's go. Let's get this. Of course we were going to get smoked on Monday night. Yeah, 2 top defensive tackles against 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks. Get out of here. We got this. Love y'all. Thanks for having me on.
What up, family? Kenny, Shay, Cain, what's cracking, y'all? Well, what can I say? I had to be at work early in the morning. I went to sleep at halftime, knowing, you know what, it looked a little messy, but we was getting it done against a formative opponent in the St. Louis Rams. I'm always going to call them the St. Louis Rams and the San Diego Chargers, because only one team really owns LA, and everybody know that. You know what I mean? But wake up at 2 a.m., lo and behold, didn't score no points. 33-13. I was like, what's going on, man? But next week is another week. You know what I mean? We got Denver. What's up with everybody in the media talking about Gruden's got a plan to get rid of Carr? What's up with, yeah, I know Gruden threw a little shade right there, my boy Carr, you know what I mean, in the press or whatever. But you know what? It is what it is, trying to get in the boy's head. I don't know. All I know is that I got faith in the silver and black. I ain't finna down talk the players or the coaches, like I said on Twitter. You know what I mean? I see people talking about how, we finna not be Raider fans no more. Finna not, you know what I mean? This Gruden thing was a bad idea. You know what? I got all kinds of bad ideas. You know what I mean? Last night I had cookies for dinner. That was a bad idea. You know what I mean? Shoot. I'm Raider faithful, man. Silver and black faithful, and that's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Love the podcast. Shouts goes out to all y'all, man, doing it real big. Like I said, this is your boy Raider Raymond right here. You know what I mean? You can catch me at Dread Pirate Doja on Twitter. You know what I mean? Shouts out. Love y'all, man. Have a good week.
What up, guys? It's Earl Waco. Man, you know what's more annoying, or what is the most annoying thing? Fake fucking Raiders fans. I absolutely hate them. And what I hate the most is these depressed little bitches that keep complaining about every little thing and critique everything the Raiders do. Oh, John Gruden's fault. We didn't win. Oh, it's Derek Carr. He's the worst quarterback. Shut the fuck up. if you burn your jersey, if you're walking out of the game early, get the fuck out. Nobody needs your opinion. You suck ass. I hate these fucking fake fans that haven't been Raiders fans long enough to know there's nothing new under this organization. They do the same thing all the time. Now, if you can't handle it, get out of the fucking kitchen. You don't deserve to be in it. These fans are just unbelievable. They recycle the same bullshit over and over again. Shut up. Nobody cares about your feelings. The Raiders are looking better. Even though they lost the game, they look way better than they did all of 2017. Give me a break. And just critiquing everything. Just shut the fuck up. My God. You know, stop calling. Nobody wants to hear your fucking bullshit. Just let the guys play. They're playing well. I mean, come on. They lost against the Rams in the fourth quarter because Carr decided to go fucking trigger happy and just start throwing bombs all over the place. And they got intercepted. It happens. The game sucks sometimes. There's nothing else we can do. Other than that, they played a great fucking game. I mean, how many fucking passes were deflected? I haven't seen a pass deflected from the Raiders in a long fucking time. There was at least 3 or 4 almost interceptions. I mean, give me a break. They did well. They looked good. Carr threw 3 interceptions. That's what killed the game. If you just saw the game and you looked at the score, you'd have been like, oh, the Raiders got blown out. They didn't get blown out. They stuck in a couple of bad plays. Oh, well. You know what? Brett Favre threw 4 interceptions one time and still won the game. That shit happens. You play to win the game. That's what happens. Other than that, Wapo's done. I'm sick of this bullshit about Mac and the Raiders. It's just annoying. You guys have a good one. Wapo out.
What's up, Kenny? Jay, Splatter here. I got a lot of shit to say that I'm going to say on my show too, but I can't wait until Saturday to get some of this shit off my chest. So, first up, something's wrong with the car, and I'm hoping it's just a flat tire, but I'm feeling like it might be the transmission, and then we're fucked. Dude, like you guys said, man, no more excuses. Seriously. And I've been saying it for a long time. Go back to 2015. Dude was weak. He was throwing picks. I was like, everybody was getting behind him. And I'm like, I'm not there yet, man. 2016, he turned me around. But again, there was nothing elite about Derek Carr's play. And then last season, okay, that's when all the excuses were validated, right? Like, he's injured, Todd Downing Jr. sucks, they're not utilized. I mean, but last night, you know, that game against the Rams, Monday Night Football, primetime, at home, you know, the only reason I gave us a chance to win that game is because it was the first game against the Rams, and it was in Oakland. But, man, dude, he lost that game for us, and that sucks, man. That's pathetic. But anyway, you know, ride or die till the end. Raider Nation, win, lose, or tie. And here's my next thing, man. What happened to win, lose, or tie? Raider till I die. Raider Nation. Man, some of you guys need to go kick rocks, dude. The sky is not falling, man. Where have you been for the last however many years, bro? This team, look, man, it's rough sometimes, bro, but I've never seen anything like this, man. The people on social media are just, man, some of you guys need to just get the fuck out. Seriously. I had one dude, you know, he was in our group, post this big rant. Our franchise sucks, our owner sucks, our team sucks. Hey guys, it's always sucks. Like, but before you tell me to go join another team, like, dude, what about this team? What about anything in that statement makes you a fucking fan? Seriously. Look, man, Raider Nation, you're either with us or you're not with us. There's no two ways about it. You either support the team or you don't. Yeah, you can complain. You can criticize. You can be critical. You're supposed to be critical when shit goes wrong. I'm critical of Carr right now. You're supposed to be critical, but you're not supposed to scream at the sky's falling, the team sucks, we're going to go 0-16, fuck this. Man, you guys got to knock it off because it's really starting to become infuriating, man. It's starting to really piss me off. All right. Woo! I got all my shits and fucks and everything that I can't say on my show. So, there'll be a lot of horns.
Kenny, Jay, this is Monster Mash from New York. Just wanted to touch base on that game. First of all, loved seeing you guys' pictures and tailgating. That's so awesome. I wish I could be there. One day I'll make it out there. I don't know if it's going to be this season. If they're there next season, maybe I can make it out. Anyway, great job in representing the nation, and I love the new logo. And congratulations on the news with the merger with Just One Ladies and Jim Jacks. Good stuff. Anyway, just my quick take. I thought, for the first half, we played pretty well. I thought they kept Derek protected, and Marshawn ran that ball and carried half that squad into the end zone with him, and then we kind of just fizzled out. Jared Cook showed up, and I think Derek Carr just, I love that dude. I mean, I'm so happy he's our quarterback, but maybe he needs to let the play develop a little bit more. I know they're working on getting that ball out pretty quick. I think it was like under 2 seconds or something like that, or 2.2 seconds, and I know he's got those two behemoths and Sue and Donald coming after him, but I think that was some of the problem. He just wasn't letting the play develop, and he was quick to check the ball down or throw it out. And Nelson and Cooper just non-existent, and I don't know if they just got shut down or not, but it was tough to watch. Anyway, moving on to the next week, I think we can take the Broncos. I think if that defense shows up and we figure out a way to get to the quarterback and put a little bit more pressure. I saw Key was getting so close at some points, but then again he got kind of stood up, or he was the deer in the headlights. But anyway, great job, guys. Love listening to your show as always. Take care, Raider Nation.
Good morning, fellas. It's 7 a.m. Wednesday morning in Colorado. This is G-Pop calling in to say, man, we're like a bottle rocket. We came out on fire. Man, I thought we were going to where we were supposed to be, and then we fizzled out. Derek Carr did not show up. I don't know where he saw like some ghosts or what he saw out there. The defense looked not good. They looked okay, but let's all slow down. Let's treat these first 4 games like a preseason, because we didn't see all of them all together anyway. Let's get it going. Raiders, we're on the right track. Let's keep faith, keep up the hope. Let's just win, baby. Sorry, fellas, this is G-Pod again. I had to cut off my call too soon. I had things going on around me. I wanted to really thank Boss Man for making this possible for me. This trek we're going on to Oakland, we're going to make the trip driving, and keep it up. This is great. I love this podcast. Keep it up every day. I want to hear it all the time. The information is incredible. All right, peace to you guys. God bless you. See you next week. G-Paw out.
And we're back. Yeah, that was a mighty long break. Last time we talked to you, it was Saturday evening out here in Denver, Colorado, hosted over there by 303 Raider. In his kitchen, had some extra special guests on the show. We did our thing. We went to the Raider takeover, and then we took that over. That was the pillaging takeover. Let's be real about it. But no, I got to give love and respect to the Colorado Booster Club out here. They really showed us a good time. They took care of us the whole time we were here. The tailgate this morning was lit. Let's get it straight. They don't do it like we do it in Oakland, but they still treat us like family, and they having a good time out here. Raider Nation knows how to party. They were playing music, Bay Area hits. They had the carne asada on the grill, chilaquiles for breakfast. Cain, they was doing it the right way, was they not?
They had it going on, baby. They was doing it the way they can do it. You know what I mean? They wasn't doing it like the Bay. But I'm gonna say this: they was doing it the way we do it in the Bay.
Yeah.
And then when you look around, it wasn't no other Denver Bronco tailgates doing it.
Not like that.
The way the Raider Nation does it.
Nope, not at all.
So that goes to show you that Raider Nation tailgates the way we tailgate in the Bay. We tailgate like that all over the United States.
And they were thick too in Kansas City. That's the beautiful thing about being a part of a family like Raider Nation is
no matter where you go, you're going to be welcomed and accepted like family, and you can't say that for other teams. The way Bronco fan was partying with Raider fan out here would not happen in the Bay Area, but they see
You
what
would
we're
never
doing.
see that.
No, I think they see what we're doing, and you have to respect that.
Dancing,
yeah,
enjoying a drink, enjoying food. You would never see Raider fans chilling with Bronco fans like that in Oakland.
So you may throw your phone out the window when I say this, but I gotta say, Denver Bronco fan, you was cool to us out here. Real cool. A lot of love out here. Colorado was good, man. Overall, I had a good time out here in Denver. What about you?
I had a marvelous time out here, and I want to say thank you to Denver and to all the Denver fans that showed us the hospitality and the love that we got. There was no bashing. There was no name calling, no nothing. We enjoyed the game. We was able to cheer our team on, and we watched them cheer their team on. I had a good time, and I would definitely come back.
Facts. We're definitely coming back here. It was hot today. We'll get to that in a second. We had some callers. We got a lot of callers this week. I'll let them all on. A lot of you guys were still responding to the Monday night game. We're going to not talk about that. I felt like the team this week did a good enough job responding to those callers and that criticism. We're just going to leave that right there. We'll talk about that in our recap here in a second. It's 9 o'clock. We're sitting at Terminal C36 in the Denver International Airport. Nothing going to stop us from getting this show done, Cain.
We do it, man.
we out here.
We do it. We could be in the bathroom on the toilet taking a shit. We're going to finish up the show for you, baby. We're going to bring it to you wherever we at.
I was looking at the stats just 15 minutes ago while taking this shit in the bathroom, as a matter of fact.
That's what I'm talking about.
So that's in play. But we do have two callers right now that called in on the line. I'm not going to upload the show until I get home tonight. Our flight's been delayed from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m., so we're on standby right now. So we will get the show up late. Obviously, you're hearing this. That means we got the show up. And there may be more callers, so I'm not going to announce the winner of this week's contest just yet. I'm going to give you all the rest of the evening to call in and give us your thoughts. And when I get home, I'll listen to those back, and I'll pick a call. But
honestly, I ain't heard one of y'all say nothing that will make me pick with you. So you need to bring it. If you want to get chosen, you need to bring it. Bring your calls. Call like you calling Jim Rome.
So yeah,
do your thing.
So as we sit here and say that, I'm going to put that on Twitter. Obviously, this is after the fact that you're hearing this, but we'll pick a winner, and we'll announce that on Twitter. Or we'll announce it on next week's show. We'll also announce next week's contest sometime during the middle of this week. But for now, let's talk about the two calls we did get real quick, just real fast. Joseph in the high desert. Hey, just bottom line, we're tired of the bitching too, Joseph. And that's all that needs to be said there. Great call, 303. Again, thank you to 303 Raider and your family and your
Shout
kids.
out.
Big shout out.
Shout out, baby.
For taking care of us. Great time.
Much love, much hospitality.
Yes, beautiful house. Shout out to Dakota and Tuck for coming through. It's always good to meet bloggers. Some of these guys, man, we've been blogging with for over a decade and have never met them. You've known Dakota for 14 years?
Well, 11, I guess. I thought it was a little bit longer, but he said 11 years, so I guess we've been blogging for 11 years.
And you finally put a face to the name this weekend.
Yeah. It was real exciting to meet Dakota and the Tuck Rule and 303. Much love and hospitality y'all showed us when we arrived in here. You took us to food. You took us to drinks, to tailgate. I mean, much love. I don't know what else to say. Much love to y'all.
Yeah. But 303, man, we had a blast out there. Again, appreciate the call. I think you hit the nail on the head. The team essentially rose to all criticism it suffered throughout the week, but we're still sitting here with an L, which is a real awkward spot to be in. You can't necessarily criticize Derek Carr for the things you criticized him before last week. I will say there are still more questions to be answered. You're not going to let this team off the hook just yet. Obviously not. We're 0-2. But you got to feel a little more confident about what we saw. We're going to get into that. There's a lot of discussion around that right now. But let's go over this recap. Let's start with the good. First of all, the Raiders did drop a thriller at Mile High, losing to the Denver Broncos 19-20. You know that already. This was a game that was a record 92 degrees at kickoff. The stands were hot. The fans were fired up. Derek Carr was sizzling, going 29 of 32 while passing for 16 first downs, 1 touchdown, and 0.0 interceptions. Carr completed passes to 9 different receivers for a total of 288 yards. Pretty pedestrian yardage, really.
A lot of dink and dunk.
Very Gruden-esque offense. Take care of the football.
Absolutely.
But we were taking everything they were giving us all day, and it was yards and chunks though down the field. 6 here, 7 here, 20 here, 12 here. A lot of intermediate passes. Right.
It looked like Denver tried to take away a little bit of everything that we do. I think they didn't focus on one factor of the game. They didn't try to take away the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running back. I think they prepared for the offense as a whole, and it was a well-fought game. I mean, the game was a close game. We had a chance to win in the fourth quarter. They had a chance to win in the fourth quarter. They came out and made a play.
Yeah.
Our defense didn't make a stop. Game over.
And we'll get to that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, Cain. We got a lot to run down. I know you're tired. You want to wrap up the show, but
it's good.
We can't jump to the finish line just yet. So let's break this down a little bit further. I'm not mad at the dink and dunk style offense, especially when you're moving the chains like that. But a few other guys that we need to mention. The Raiders kept Carr clean for the most part. Penn got blown up on one play by Von Miller, which led to a key sack on third down. So we did get to Derek Carr once. I think I saw Chubb's number one time on a big play. Was not a sack. Again, we watched this live. We don't get the replays in an away stadium. So there's a lot of things that we're at a disadvantage for as opposed to you guys watching on TV. When we're seeing it live, we're getting it raw. There's no replay. We don't get to see things back. The Raiders anyways, new faces getting involved early in the season. Maurice Hurst records his first sack today.
That's what we're looking for.
That's what we're looking for.
We're looking for that.
Mo Burst, I'm going to call him.
We need Mo Hurst.
I'm going to call him Mo Burst. We need Mo Burst.
We need Mo Hurst.
We need Mo QBs and Hearses is what we need. Arden Key, he applied pressure at times today. He was getting in there, never got his hands on the quarterback, but he was in and around the paint. Melvin scores the Raiders' first interception of the season. A big turnover in the red zone.
Let's get that out the way now, not wait till week 10. Thank God.
Thank God. The ice is broken, right? Also answering the bell this week, though, was Amari Cooper. He caught all 10 of his 10 targets for 110 yards. Again, not mind-blowing average, but solid, man.
Featured, like John said. We're featuring him.
And going back to that 9 different, receivers today, you can tell that they were mixing it up, getting different guys in the game, and Derek Carr had his head on a swivel. Would you say Carr looked good in the pocket today?
I would say Carr looked good in the pocket. And I would say what really, really amazed me, what I saw that really made me happy was he finally stood in that pocket and made some throws, some tough throws.
Yeah.
And the receivers made the catches. So that gives him confidence that he can stand in there and make them throws, and his receivers will answer the bell and make them catches. And I was real happy to see that.
And let's not forget, we were talking before the game in the tailgate that we need to throw the ball deep. Whether we connect or not, it's just that moment in the game where you just take a shot and you see what happens just to let the defense know, okay, we can push the ball downfield. My quarterback can throw the ball 40 yards in the air. Watch out. And we did that, and Cooper came down with the ball. Again, we didn't see the replay, but the offsetting penalties right there killed us, bro. Killed us. That could have been 150 yards on the day for Amari Cooper, and that could have been the drive that led to a touchdown. We'll get to that in a second as we discuss the bad and the missed opportunities here. But I also want to give it up to my man Seth Roberts. So I've been telling you guys Seth is going to have a good season.
All he does is score touchdowns, baby. Hey, revisit 2016. All he does is score touchdowns.
Unfortunately, the streak is broken. We are now 9-1 in games where Seth Roberts has scored a touchdown. It was previously 9-0. But, man, my man Seth got out there today. He made some good plays, some good blocking, some nice possession receptions, and, of course, a touchdown. Very, very, very nice. Lynch ran strong all afternoon. He found the end zone once, but only gained 65 yards on the ground doing so.
But a tough 65.
A tough 65.
First downs.
Hard fought.
Some hard fought first downs.
Yeah, the big
yardage we needed.
Yardage we definitely needed. He had the big 3rd-and-1 run in the fourth quarter. I thought that was setting up the final drive. It ended up not going that way. And, of course, let's not forget the old school power I formation on the goal line. Lynch going over the top.
End zone, baby. Zach Crockett style. 16 blast.
Very much.
Oh, my God. Did you see when I jumped up? It was like, oh, shit, we going to run it in. I'm thinking we going – fade routes to the corners.
Yeah.
I'm like, look for the fade in the corner, look for the fade, because that's what we normally do, right?
Right.
When we down there in the red zone.
Right.
When we lined up in the I, we know receivers, all tight ends in the I formation, I was like, I almost shit my pants. Like, oh, God damn, here we go. Gruden going back to the old school, 16 blast.
Real
boy.
talk.
You know what I'm saying? Zach
Real
Crockett.
talk. Raider blast.
That's what I'm talking about.
Raider blast right there. Yeah, that was old school. We got we got made fun of for celebrating that. The Denver fan was like, "Oh, look, they're celebrating the '70s again," and I was like, "You in the '70s too? Look, you got 0 points, Bronco fan." Yeah, I ran my mouth a little bit too much today. Maybe. Hey, I didn't push it over the ledge, but when Raider fans in the building, we still got to let them know somebody's going to talk a little trash. It's just for fun. It's just we're pillaging just for fun.
Absolutely.
And I'd say at the beginning of the game, at least for the first 3 quarters, right, the Raiders defense held their ground in the first half, forcing several 3-and-outs, keeping the silver and black in a close game, and in the lead for 59 minutes and 51 seconds. But you
would think if you're in the lead for that long, what do you come out with?
A W?
A W, baby.
But what do they say every week? You got to play 60
minutes.
Yep, 60 minutes
and
of
that
football.
means the defense needed to play 60 minutes.
So I think that's a good segue. Let's get into the bad, Cain.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So despite a high completion average, Derek Carr and the Raiders stalled out on several drives, including a key 4th and 1 at the end of the game, right? Towards the end of the game, I think there was maybe just under 10 minutes left to go. They line up in the same power I formation, and they got motion, and you think they're going to run the ball on 4th and 1. Instead, it's a play fake, beautiful play design. Keith Smith
just
breaks
like
open
last
in the
week
flat.
against the Rams, Jalen Richard drops the pat. Freaking same fucking play. I
beautiful. Different play, but beautiful design.
Beautiful wheelhouse out the backfield.
Yeah,
the wheel route out the backfield.
Right.
You know, he catches that pass, and we possibly run the clock out.
Yeah.
You know, that was the game winner right there.
That was definitely a momentum shift after that drop pass. It breathed new life into the Denver Bronco offense. They come right back on the field. They go 14 plays, 67 yards. Case Keenum caps it off with a QB sneak touchdown in the end zone.
14 plays, 67 yards, bro. Bro, that's tough.
That's a rough one.
That's tough. And just think of you sitting in the house watching that shit in 90-degree temperature.
Yeah.
You know, you looking like, come on, defense, make a play. It's just you let them go 67 yards. I mean, we can't make one play.
No.
And you know what? I don't want to hear shit about we should have had Khalil Mack because the Bears fucking lost today. So let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah, let's move on to that. Let's move on. Well, the Bears didn't play today. They play tomorrow night. So let's not get ahead of ourselves there just yet. We'll say the Bears didn't win today. That's fair enough.
That's fair enough, right?
But I thought it was a beautiful play design. They come out, again, short yardage, power I. You're thinking, all right, here it goes right back to Lynch again. You know, Lynch just had a nice run on the last series, and it's a play fake to Smith, wide open out there in the flat, goes right off his fingertips. A rough one after getting a nice catch earlier in the game, Keith Smith. And he's known he can catch the ball. Keith Smith catch the ball, but the moment
did it in Dallas many times.
Maybe the moment was just too big for him.
We get in these positions, and these guys, they don't make plays, man.
They choked right there.
But one thing, and you know what, it took me a long time to get to this where I'm geared to say, okay, I'm not going to blame Derek Carr today. All right? Okay, we talked about this from the time we left the stadium till we got to the airport, and we back and forth. Okay, I'm not going to blame Derek Carr. Players need to make plays.
Yeah.
And it's not just Derek Carr.
No.
Everybody needs to make plays. And today, the backs didn't make a play. You know, the defense needed to make a play. So there's blame to spread around this team. John Gruden put us in position to win last week because if Jalen Richard catches that pass, we tied the game. This week, if Keith Smith catches that pass, we possibly run the clock out and win the game. So Gruden has put us in position to win both weeks. Carr, this week, put us in position to win. Defense, I got to say, this one is on you. One is on you.
And here it is, right? Here it is. They go down the field, 67 yards. It's a 2-point game. Raiders take the field. Marshawn Lynch rips off a big run on 3rd and 1. And then they go 3 and out after that. The offense stalls out at a moment when the Broncos have 0 timeouts. They've just used their last challenge. And this is it, man. Nail in the coffin time, right? And I think the storyline this week is probably going to be John Gruden's conservative play calling. And we told you in the pregame, right? The first segment of the show, we
told you when you got hired.
We told you when he got hired.
we told you that when he got hired. Don't think you're going to see some spectacular ass shit going on. You're not. He's very conservative, and that's just how it is.
Yeah. I won't say he's overrated because his play design is nice, but people make it sound like he's Mike Martz, like this is the greatest show on turf. That's not the style of coaching this is.
No, this is not Mike Martz.
Let's keep it
this
real.
This is not Mark Trestman.
Let's keep it real.
This is John Gruden. Remember that.
Yeah.
If you don't remember, go back to 1999, year 2000, and look at the games, and then you'll get a little bit more perspective on what you're going to see out of this. I don't care if it was 20 years ago. His philosophy still didn't freaking change. He's conservative, and that's the way he's going to be. You're going to win games with running the ball and defense. The defense did not fucking show up in the last drive of the game. If they do, they win. The man puts us in position to win week in, week out. The players got to go out there and make plays, and if you don't make plays and he puts us in position to make plays, you don't win the game. Don't blame nobody. Look around and take a look at what's happening on the field, and it's a bunch of blame to go everywhere.
There is, and let's nail it down. You've already kind of mentioned it. We've already mentioned it a little bit. But you can pin this on the defense's inability to stop Case on the final drive. You can even pin this all the way back to Irvin's unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on a 4th and 1 that led to the Broncos' touchdown. That would have been a turnover on downs on their 1-yard line. You can credit Keith Smith's dropped pass.
Missed extra point.
And one thing, the missed extra point, thank you very much, very big. And the one thing that we haven't mentioned yet was Oakland was 3 of 10 on 3rd down. And that's big.
That's huge. That's not good. That's not a good look.
So
3 of 10 on 3rd down is not going to win games. It's not going to give you time of possession. It's not going to keep the offense on the field and keep the defense off the field.
No.
You want to win games, you got to get first downs on 3rd down.
And you got to be on schedule. You got to be in 3rd and short. Or you guys, by now in this show, you've listened to the Lombardi interview, and he talks in there a little bit about how, converting 2nd downs is really what you want to look at. 3rd down conversion across the league is under 50%. So if you're relying on that, you need to be ahead of the game in that regard. You need to be not just on schedule now, you got to be ahead of schedule now in the NFL. So, getting into 3rd and long, that's not going to work out for you. But like you said, there's a lot of blame to go around. But let's say this, right? That you said this on the shuttle ride over here. This is odd as this sounds, as bad as this sounds, this is a loss that we can build on, is it not?
Absolutely. We can take a look at this offense is coming together. Mm-hmm. The defense is coming together. Look, this was 20-19, low-scoring game. You know what I mean? We had Case Keenum, who lit it up for Minnesota last year. You know what I'm saying? We had Denver, who's got a good defense. We moved the ball consistently on them. All the way up until the 4th quarter, we moved the ball against a good defense. Whether you think they're not good no more because they don't have Talib or whoever, they still got a good defense. So there's a lot to take away from this. And the one main key that we can take away from this is Carr and Gruden are looking like they're on the same page.
Yes.
Yes. And that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. And when the defense is fresh, I think they had like 3 3-and-outs in the first half. So this defense can do things, but let's work on getting a little bit more of a lead. And got to close out games, man. Again, 60 minutes.
Out game. Defense got to make a play.
Got to make a play. Can we agree on that?
Got to make a play. Defense, you got to make a defense. You had to win this game. I'm sorry, you did. You had to win this game.
All right, so something that we didn't get to do last week, but we're going to do it this week, the return of our MVP trash can player segment. So here we go, Cain. I'm going to put you on the spot because I intentionally did not talk about this on the way over. I'm just saving this. I want to get you right on the spot. Now, this is your time right here. I'm going to let you call this right now.
I'm going to be quick. I'm going to let you know.
All right, who's the trash
Keith
can?
Keith Smith. You're a trash can player this week, buddy. You catch that pass and we possibly win the game. You, my friend, are the reason the offense was stalled and left off the field.
Right there. That could have been the game. That was definitely a momentum buster. But who are you going to give the MVP to this week? It's an L, but somebody deserves a game ball. Who are you going to give it to?
I'm going to give the MVP to Derek Carr. Derek Carr showed up this week, 29 of 32 passes, 288 yards is not a lot of yards, but that, John Gruden, dink and dunk. Look, 29 of 32, that's good. Derek Carr, you the man.
You the real MVP.
Couldn't have said it better myself, brother. Yeah, good shit. Well, it's about 9:30 right. Oh, sorry, it's about 9:15 right now. I think we've done our work for the weekend. What do you say?
It's been a long weekend, Denver, but it's been a good one.
It's been a good one.
I love it. I had a great time. I'd come back and enjoy myself again, man.
Absolutely, man.
I hope to see Denver again soon.
Yeah, the same here, bro. So let's sign off. This is the Pillaging Podcast. Tune in every week. Wherever podcasts are found, make sure you download the official Pillaging app for Android or iOS. Call in and leave a message to be played on air at 408-909-PJFF. Stay tuned next week. We'll be coming right back at you. Probably the same time. We're going to try to go live Sunday night. Now, are you going to Miami next week?
I am not going to Miami next week.
Okay. All right. I got a work event on Sunday, but I'm going to try to get back in the studio, and we'll try to get up at the same time, same normal time. So look for us on YouTube next week. I know the live stream hasn't been up, but we're out here trying to make things happen. We're movers and shakers right now.
We try to do it. We try to bring it to you the best way we can, baby. The best way we can.
But yeah, the Raiders travel across the country to Miami next week, so we will be watching from home, watching on TVs like a lot of y'all. And so tune in for that. In the meantime, keep the wind in your sails and the rum in your mug and pillage on, Raider Nation. This has been a production of the Raiders Podcast Network. I'm Kenny Stapler, joined by
Cain.
We out you.
We out here, baby.
Go Raiders.
Just win, baby.